je ne regrette rien.
Crikey, that film done well.
Tout le mal qu'on m'a fait. La la li. La la li la la la. I don't know the lyrics.
Someone's in a very tuneful mood.
Yep.
That's very good.
Okay.
Right, okay, we've got everything. Do we need a glass of water or anything?
No, you need a glass of water.
Okay, I'll have a glass of water.
If you're asking, is that you need?
Okay, we're just getting some refreshments, some beverages. So, shall I get going?
Okay.
Let's get going.
Okay.
All right, hello one and all. My name's John Clare. This is
Roman Prish.
This is the Post Watch Post Mortem, and we're just after watching, as we told you last week. You know, if you were paying attention, we're just after watching Chris Nolan's 2010 amazing film, Inception.
Inception, yeah.
Which I still believe to be, even after watching Oppenheimer, this is my favourite Chris Nolan movie.
I think you're gonna say that if you watch Interstellar or they're all great movies.
Well, look, Interstellar I have my problems with.
Oh, okay.
Because like the ending, I just thought the ending. I don't know.
It's a bit romantic, I know.
I think the things with me, it's just like you're not going to find the meanings to life at the centre of black holes. By all accounts, what you're going to find at the centre of black holes is an infinitely small point of gravity. Oh, sorry, a tiny point with an infinite amount of gravity that will literally, like, before you even reach it, will turn you into spaghetti of atoms.
But it's not we diverged there. But it's you don't like the ending of Interstellar. But I think that what I was saying is that Christopher Nolan, as a director, has a lot of good movies.
Yes, he does.
Even Tenet, that's the one I'm the more criticizing. It's still a good movie. It's still like good action, do a good thing. But we diverge.
No, look, it's not, this is what happens during the course of conversations. How many times do I have to say this on this podcast?
It's okay, but you say that you didn't like Interstellar, and you say that. Even though you saw Oppenheimer and you got reminded that this one was great as well, well,
it's not so much it was reminded. I've watched this film several times over the years. I haven't watched it in a few years now, but I've watched this film a few times, and I just fucking adore it. I mean, this for me is like when Christopher Nolan. I'd say this Oppenheimer, Memento would be my kind of top three. Mm-hmm. Of his movies. Like, I mean, don't ask me what number I'd put them in. It'd be one, they would be put in, just those are my top three. Those are the three that I really adore. Inception is basically, I think, like, the things with Christopher Nolan, right, is that he is one of these directors who has fucking ideas. He had, I mean, like we espoused what he could do during... When we did the Invitation Game, and obviously we compared, well, it couldn't be helped because the two films were very similar, were very similar in terms of their subject matter, but in terms of their execution, they were light years away. But this is what makes Christopher Nolan such a brilliant director. He's one of these directors who has vision and, a very discernible style, and he has, it's just his ambition.
He's very ambitious.
He's very ambitious. And the thing is, like, he made this movie in between I think it was the making of The Dark Knight and The Dark Knight Rises, which I think is one of his weakest films. The Dark Knight. Oh, sorry, I forgot about The Dark Knight as well. Of course, the fucking Dark Knight. Jesus Christ, man, that film's amazing as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the guy has a pretty fucking stellar catalogue.
Do you know what? Do you know it's good sometimes you could like a movie that's not as best as the other one, but he wanted to share it, like Tenet, for example.
Yeah, I mean, look, this is the thing. Is like, look, Christopher Nolan. It doesn't matter where your preferences lie. You may like some films, you may not like others. We might disagree on what are his good movies or whatever.
You didn't say anything about The Prestige as well.
Oh my god, the fucking Prestige! Jesus Christ, that film's awesome.
You forgot about The Prestige.
Yeah, I forgot about The Prestige. See, this is the thing. He's got so many good movies.
Yeah.
Like, Christopher Nolan is without doubt.
And
without doubt.
Also Dunkirk as well, which is
of course Dunkirk. Yeah, okay. Look, okay. Let's stop making movies. We know he's made a lot of good ones.
He's made a lot of good ones.
All right, that's the thing. Like, Christopher Nolan is one of the best directors in cinematic history. You can fight me on that if you want, but you're gonna lose. Right,
He's one of the greatest. He's one of the greatest.
He's definitely one of the greats. He's up there with the Scorsese's. He's up there with. I don't know. Name one. I don't care.
I was gonna name what's Shining in 2001 Special DC.
Stanley Kubrick. Stanley Kubrick. Yeah, Stanley Kubrick is also a visionary genius. You know, there's any number of like amazing directors, but like Christopher Nolan, I'd go as far as to say right now is probably my favorite.
What
director.
I like about Christopher
Tarantino.
Nolan, what I like about Christopher Nolan, he can make something big and epic, but still intimate.
Yeah.
It's like it's just like it's sort of like, you know, when you want to make a movie big with big you know, like or the end of the world or stuff like that. So like, no, Christopher Nolan just keep it like extremely intimate. You know, it's not about like the creation of the bomb. It's about the man who created it.
Yes.
It's not about like a man who tried to like a story of people going into dreams and then create like a political like thing, or everybody's like doesn't know what's real or not real. It's about like a man who tried to come back home. Like that's Inception. That the plot.
Yeah,
of
but
Inception.
also like that's true. I'm not arguing that, but also you got to bear in mind there's other things going on as well, like Cillian Murphy's character and his relationship with his father, Cobb's relationship with his wife. The team dynamic as well. I mean, like you got Tom Hardy, you've got
their side character, we don't go deep in their backstory and story. The only two that we go deep is we go extremely deep with Leonardo DiCaprio character. It's called
Cobb.
Cobb. We go extremely deep in Cobb. Cobb is the main character. Even though we see a little bit of Cillian Murphy, what we saw it's only subconscious, so it's not real. It's not real. Like we only see subconscious. Yeah,
but the thing is, like, it still explores those relationships, and this is the thing. Is like,
and it's the shortest relationship we talk about. It's just at the end of the movie. You have this little story with Cillian Murphy and his dad.
Yeah, I know, but the thing it's hinted at.
It's into that, and it's also remarkable to have that much connection with those two characters, even though you just meet it in one scene. And Cillian Murphy is killing it, making created that character, and basically you follow that character through, like
but also I mean I like the interpersonal relationship between the team as well, like with Tom Hardy's character, especially with Joseph Gordon-Levitt's character Arthur, like the dynamic between him and Cobb, like Ariadne, who's I know it's a bit Elliot Page, right? Then was Ellen Page, but that's Elliot Page. But
I think
their performance. Hold on a second.
Yeah.
Right. It's just like I loved all. I loved Elliot Page's performance as Ariadne, as being like almost like Ariadne. Ariadne, the character. Sorry, this is a bit of a freaking plot.
What I'm going to say about this, because I knew we're gonna stumble on that.
Yeah. Okay.
At the time, she made the movie. Her name was
Ellen Page.
Ellen Page. And you know what? We're going to talk about her in that movie.
No. We should do. No. We've got to be respectful at the end of the day. Like, they currently want to be referred to as Elliot. We should refer to them as Elliot. I think that's really the right thing to do.
That's what Elliot.
But the thing is, like, the character Ariadne. If we're going to say her, as in, it's going to be the character of Ariadne.
Yeah.
Right. So Elliot is Elliot, but Ariadne is a female character, so she is a her.
So I don't see any problem, because look, when I did theater, I did theater for years, and some female, I play female character, I play male character, do like gender is changing all the time. Yes, the character is female, the actor is masculine, so yeah, it's no problem.
Okay, yeah, it's just like this is the issue. I mean, like, I don't want to be treading on anyone's toes.
No,
I don't want to be getting involved in any bloody political fights.
No, you don't. We don't get like.
But I want to credit the performance of the actor.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? That's the thing. Is like, I mean, because at the end of the day, Ariadne's character was the audience through line. A lot of the exposition, especially early on in the movie, is through Ariadne's relationship with Cobb.
Yeah.
So like this is, and not only that, I love the name Ariadne because she has to spin webs. She has to make the mazes.
Would you repeat the name?
Ariadne.
Ariadne.
Ariadne is I can't remember. It's the name of a spider in a bloody story in a fairy tale. I can't remember which one off the top of my head. Oh. But the fact is, like, Ariadne spins webs. Ariadne creates mazes. I mean, there's kind of like there is that kind of loose thing going on there. But yeah, Ariadne is the audience through line to the rest, to everything that's going on.
Or being explain what the technology is about, what
Yeah,
is
exactly.
the possibilities and stuff like that of the technology. Basically, yeah, you're right. She's the audience vector or the audience like conduit.
Yes.
There you go.
Yeah. So that's the thing. Is there's all that. I mean, but also the rest of the characters. Like I like Tom Hardy because Tom Hardy is just Tom Hardy.
Is the comic relief of the movie.
Yeah, and he's a charming. I mean, he's the charming Brit, which is funny because every time he always comes across as this burly geezer. Whenever I see him in interviews,
yeah.
Well, yeah, he comes across as a geezer, but in this film he's a lot more restrained, and
a bit more elegant.
Yeah, he's classy.
Darling,
darling, you need to dream bigger. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, I really like that.
Goofing around, he's joking around. Is the comic relief?
Yeah, exactly. And when things, I mean, Cillian Murphy's pretty much good in everything he does. Do you know what I mean? I don't remember. I mean, everything I've seen him, he's always been pretty much exemplary. I mean, I remember the first time I saw him in 28 Days Later. I thought he was fantastic in that. And then, I mean, nearly 20 years later, he's probably one of the most respected actors in the world. You know, on TV and in cinema. I mean, thanks to the Peaky Blinders. By order of the Peaky Blinders. But yeah, I mean, and obviously there was a little bit of Michael Caine. Marianne Cotillard, who is she's like the closest thing to my ideal woman there is.
I kind of like Ken Watanabe.
Ken Watanabe is good at it.
I kind of like it's very cool. It's extremely cool. Everything is in is cool. You know, like we need a display and stuff like that. Like this specific type of plan. Oh, I just bought the company. So he's always the one that like is the I like his character. Because he's a very smart character. He can see
no room for passengers on this job.
Yeah, no room for passengers. Yeah, I like doing like his thing that he got he saw the plot coming at the beginning of the first dream, the first scene.
Yeah.
He saw the masquerade and stuff like that. You know? Yeah.
I don't know. I just think that this film. Also, I like how the film kind of loops back on itself because the opening scene is
the Japanese mansion. Yeah.
So it
it
is
like also because we see the ending at the beginning of the film. We have a callback to the. It's a flash forward.
Yeah, flash forward.
Forward.
Pardon me. Yeah,
so basically the movie do a loop basically.
Essentially, yeah. But I think this. Sorry, full of gas.
Go for it.
Pardonnez-moi. But yeah, in terms of this film, man, I mean, I fucking adore it. I really do. Do you know what I mean? I know. Look, it has over the years. Like, I mean, it's been lauded as probably one of the best films of the 2000s since 2000.
Yeah.
Easily one of the best films in terms of its imagination, in terms of its scope, in terms of its execution. Like I said, Christopher Nolan is one of the greatest directors in cinematic history, and probably like up there amongst my favourites.
You know what? I think Christopher Nolan also is a master to tell people's story. People
it's like what you said earlier.
Yeah,
on. It's like although the scope is often grand, he doesn't lose sight of intimacy. He doesn't lose sight of interpersonal relationships. He doesn't lose sight of the fact that
that's what you see in
of character
in Dunkirk, for example. He could have talked about like the Dunkirk story in a broad, large thing, but what he focus on people.
Yeah, on character.
He focus on character. Same as well on the movie Interstellar. You focus on this relationship with the father and the daughter.
Yeah,
you focus a lot on that.
That's true. Yeah,
yeah. It's like it's about love, about connection. His movies a lot of time about love and connection.
Yeah,
which the only one that doesn't have love and connection is Tenet, I think.
I suppose we might need to revisit that at some point.
Tenet is the one with the bigger scope. Like the safety of the world depends on that character, and he has to save the world.
Yeah,
and we don't see that in most of this movie. Because, for example, like maybe Oppenheimer needs to save the world, but the world is doomed whatever you do. Basically, that's what the ending tell you. Like it was forced to.
Well, yeah, it's like when the fact is like there isn't any. We don't see anything about what's going on with the Second World War, whether it be in Europe or in Japan, because as you correctly pointed out in one of the previous podcasts, is that the enemy keeps changing.
The enemy keeps changing. So you start with the Nazi are defeated. It's the Japanese are defeated. It's the Russian.
Yeah.
Like it's always a new enemy. It always change. What I think with Tenet doesn't work is that you follow that character and you have no connection with him because you don't know his past. You don't know what pushed him to be there. It's just it's basically he has no relationship with anybody. Maybe with the ex of the bad guy thing, but like it's not even like it's a goal to like using him. We have to watch again Tenet.
Yeah, I think we've got to watch it again.
But I think it's the one who's lacking the most connection, like with
maybe.
people. You know.
But
there's that very nice scene is between two colleagues with the guy who played Twilight,
Robert Pattinson.
There's this very nice scene where they both say goodbye, but they know they're going to see you again because if you follow the time thing,
because he goes round in a circle.
He runs circle to help his friend basically. Yeah. To make sure that his story starts basically. You go at the beginning of the movie to make sure that he started the action.
Yeah, there's that one scene where like I can't remember.
Is that the beginning? Is at the beginning in the theater? He saved his life in the theater and then come back again to.
Because I'm thinking the one thing that really jumps out in my mind at the moment is that scene exactly halfway in the movie. No.
Okay.
At the start, roughly where it's Denzel Washington's son. I can't remember his first name. Sorry, not off the top of my head right now. But like he has that fight with himself.
Yes.
Yeah, so there's a lot of like clever stuff.
He tell him to not shoot, like he don't shoot, like he don't shoot it because he know that's him.
That's him.
Like,
yeah, but only one side knows that's him because the other one's wearing a full uniform with a mask over the top of it, and he's wearing like a full police uniform. But anyway, like it's in terms of like we do need to rewatch Tenet, and we probably will at some point in the very near future. Not next month though, because we'll tell you more about that at the end. But yeah, like we do need to pick up on Tenet at some time and do a podcast on it because I think it actually would make a good conversation.
Yeah.
But in terms of this film, like just not just the performances, not just the fact that Christopher Nolan's fucking phenomenal, but also like another thing about this movie, its visuals are absolutely jaw dropping, and the fact that he got most of it, not all of it, but most of it in camera, like being. Like for instance, the fight in the hallway where the hallway's spinning.
Not the zero gravity one, but like when they're fighting and everything is spinning around them. Like that was made on a real set. That was spinning.
No, around. so was that part as well. It's all done via wire work and shit like that.
Yes, of course, wire work. But like the part where they're moving the thing, they move the entire like.
And they're literally like spinning around inside like a fucking giant washing machine.
They did that in 2000 Space Odyssey.
Yeah,
did that thing Kubrick did for like the scene when he's walking in the I don't know how do you call the gravity.
I know what you're talking about.
Gravity centrifuge, yeah. And so they make like a set that spin around. So it has been done before. So it just did it at the bigger scale.
Not just the bigger scale, but in terms of like the action.
Yeah.
Like the thing is like, again, the action's fucking intense.
Yeah.
I mean, and not only that, the things with Christopher Nolan, like everyone kind of goes, "Oh yeah, he's timey-wimey." Yeah, he does it. But this is, I think, the film. This is probably the movie that he does it probably the best.
The time dilation and time.
Yeah, because like you got the whole time dilation throughout the dreams.
Yeah.
So like there's that one where your man kind of
stage of a dream.
Yeah, the first stage, because in the first stage, if it's 5 minutes, it's an hour. If it's an hour, it's just kind of
an hour in a dream is 5 minutes in real life.
Yeah,
and then it just adds up as you go
exponentially
as you go there. So after the fourth one, I think it's like 10 years or 50 years,
something like that. Could go.
Yeah, it can go like forever,
indefinite. But no, I just think that the film itself, I think this is where he gets it absolutely back on the money because the tension genuinely does ramp up in each of those kind of like timelines.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? In each of the different stages of the dream, because it's so perfectly pitched all the way through. And just as you get to the conclusion, I mean, you really do feel it towards the end. It's like you feel the tension mount up. Will they? Won't they? Will it succeed? Won't it
because
succeed?
you see the truck like falling down, and you see like the stakes. You just see the stakes, the music. Hans Zimmer, the music perfect. Hans Zimmer perfect. Just like a master at work.
Yeah, again. Absolutely. That soundtrack is to die for. Yeah, it really is.
Also, like I was going to say something in a day and talk about like Hans Zimmer, but what I was going to say, fuck, I lost it. Anyway,
he'll come back.
But you're right. Yeah, like the also like what I like about this, it just everything looked like every setting and stuff like that. Even the last vault at the end, it's very spy movie because. Do you know what? Like at the end, like it's a fortress. You know, it's a fortress.
It reminds me of level. Do you know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of level in GoldenEye.
Yes, exactly.
What GoldenEye 64.
Because do you know what? Like when you want to create something from a dream, like you want to imaginate your dream, we use movies or video games. So I think this last scene, the last thing when they're like in the tundra and they have to kill the bad guys, stuff like that, is basically. A Jazz Bond thing.
It's GoldenEye 64.
Yeah, a Jazz Bond thing, or do you like a golfing? I don't know what movie would be. Which one? The one that we dropped from the plane in the Russian thing? I think it's. No,
which James Bond are we talking about?
It's like I remember. It's like one scene where it's like at the beginning is like there's like.
Is it? Let's go by which James Bond is it? Is it Roger Moore? Is it Sean Connery? Is it
the other one? What's it called?
Hold a second. Let me go through it in order. Sean Connery, George Lazenby, Roger Moore, Timothy Dalton, Pierce Brosnan.
Pierce Brosnan. Yeah.
All right, which one? Okay,
like he's escaping from it's okay. There is the last one he did. What was the name of it?
Tomorrow Never Dies. I think
Tomorrow Never Dies. Also, he's escaping from the. It's the scene when they're escaping.
Is that one who's escaping on the fucking? Where he's like windsurfing.
Yeah, windsurf. Oh, that's the
that awful scene.
But like,
it looks so shit.
You see what I mean? Like all their memories is like a hotel room. Do like entering. Do like kind of do like spy movies.
Yeah,
that's where they build their imagination for their dreams, basically.
Possibly.
Because you see hotel rooms, you see streets, you see it does like give a very realistic vibe, even though we are in a dream, with still some element of thing that mess it up. And I felt like just make a quick comparison because we talk about Inception when we did the last video, and I want to talk about the last video also.
Oh, Paprika, sure.
There's two way to show a dream. There's one with very like fever dream, very like like crazy kind of thing, like very unrealistic.
Yeah.
And this one, even though we are in dreams, everything is extremely realistic.
Yeah, but it's like I wouldn't say realistic. I think hyper-real is
hyper-real.
Hyper-real. It's like a kind of heightened reality because of all the stakes that are involved, because of the action that's taking place. The fact that let's be honest. Right, absolutely bloody honest. Like the actual concept for Inception is fucking balmy.
Yeah.
Right. This whole thing about everyone getting involved in each other's dreams and it going the whole thing.
I think it's if it wasn't Christopher Nolan, somebody would have walk into his own shoes and stuff like that. It's such a complicated subject that somebody will have messed it up somewhere. Someone else doing this will have messed it up somewhere.
Yeah, without a doubt. Yeah. Because that's the thing is like. All right, because Christopher Nolan basically is involved in a lot of directors. Like for instance, I know the usual kicking post with the Marvel machine.
Yeah.
Right. Most of them are okay. You might have the occasion James Gunn, Taika Waititi or whatever else, but every now and again, like let's be honest, like most of the directors are pretty much working like directors whose names you may not be all that familiar with, and they'll come along, they'll shoot the script that's in front of them, and then they'll hand over whatever footage they've shot to post-production, and then the editors and the CGI artists and everything else will have their time with it. But with Christopher Nolan, you know for certain, like Christopher Nolan's involved with it from inception, pun intended, to the very execution to release. He's like, for instance, he'll turn around and he'll dictate to the marketing department what footage they're allowed to use,
which is good because the trailer of Inception was great. Oh, the trailer of Inception, every trailer was great.
Yeah, well, that's the thing with all of his trailers, because like what he doesn't want to do is he wants to give you
taste. You want to give you
he wants to give you a taste. He wants to turn around and say, look, this is the amuse bouche, but if you want the main course, get your ass to the cinema.
Yeah.
Right. Whereas for most time, I mean, the amount of times when you see like trailers, like
they give you all the best moment or the money
best
shot,
jokes.
the money shot. Oh, we spent so much money in that shot. We need to put it in the trailer. Like stuff like that. You know?
Well, it's not only that. I remember, like, do you remember when Captain America: Civil War came out?
Yeah.
How brilliant would it have been to have gone to that cinema, right, and then without knowing Spider-Man was in it?
Yeah,
that would have been one of those "oh my god" moments.
But
they ruined it because Sony turned around and said, "Oh, we want to market the fact that Spider-Man's in the film," so they spoilt it. They spoiled probably one of the best fucking one of the best reveals. Yet when Spider-Man No Way Home came out, then they were very coy about revealing the fact that Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire win it as reprising the role of their Spider-Mans. So this is the thing, right? When it comes like this, a lesser director would allow that kind of shit to happen. But Christopher Nolan, being the man that he is, being the director that he is, right, he has enough nous about him to know that, right, marketing department, here's what you're getting, and this is all you're getting. Make the fucking best of it.
Maybe I'm right, but I think that the trailer basically hide any scene with Cillian Murphy. I think it doesn't show any Cillian Murphy, or maybe he doesn't show any of. I don't know.
No, it does look.
Trailer? Oh, maybe. Okay.
Right. But what it won't do is it probably won't actually. It'll give, like I said, it'll give you just enough information, but no more.
Yeah.
Because you got to bear in mind, like also, the production company Syncope. Syncope is Christopher Nolan's own production company.
Yeah.
So he has that level of control.
Yes.
Right. And the thing is, like, I kind of wish like a lot of other kind of movie production companies, production houses, studios would take a leaf out of that book. Do you know what I mean? But don't spoil all the brilliant parts of your film. Don't ruin the surprise for people.
Or just, do you know what? Something brilliant. Make a trailer that's nothing to do with the movie.
No, you can't go that far.
You can go that far.
No, it's false. No, false advertising, dude. You can't do that.
But like,
you got. There's a fine line to walk, right? You want to advertise the film because I don't like. Another thing I don't like because Marvel do this is they insert scenes that aren't in the fucking film.
Okay.
So don't get me wrong, there is a fine line to walk, but it can be walked and can be done effectively. Case in point, if you look at how well Oppenheimer did it break $1 billion? I don't think so, but it grossed a lot of bloody money, and I think Universal are pretty happy about it. Do you know what I mean? Because Barbie was all,
it's not the same movie, but like, I'm kind of tired to have both of them be compared. They're not the same movie.
I wasn't going to compare them because I haven't seen Barbie yet.
It's not something. I said nothing of you. I'm saying people Oppenheimer did this and Barbie did this. Like they're two different movies.
Oh yeah, very different.
Very different movie.
Very different films.
One movie will appeal more than to most audiences, and the other one will appeal less to different audiences.
Yeah, but the thing is, like when we went to see it, was there any spaces in that cinema?
Most of the people we see were adult.
Yeah, true. Also, like I think none of that. Christopher Nolan has earned like his name being like. That's the thing. You go there to watch a Christopher Nolan movie.
You know what you're expecting.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing. He's earned the right to have his name on the billboard. He's the attraction. Mm-hmm. Christopher Nolan's Oppenheimer.
Yeah. It's his movie. Yes, movie is first. His name is first, and the movie is. Yeah, there you go.
So that's the thing. I mean, he's an auteur, and the thing is, like, there isn't too many auteurs who can carry that kind of level, that level box office clout.
No, that's true. That's true. Like, yeah, it's maybe like the what's the name of the director of Indiana Jones? Spielberg. Yeah, before like in the 90s when Spielberg was
80s.
Massive. 80s.
Yeah.
When in the 80s,
the first film came out in 80.
No, I mean like Spielberg as a director, like Jurassic Park, when it's still Spielberg, Jurassic Park, or still Spielberg, Indiana Jones,
or E.T. or like anything else that he's put his hand to over the last few years. I mean, like
he made his name and his reputation,
Yeah, absolutely, and he earned it. I mean, that's the thing. It's like not every director is going. It's like with any art form, like not every director is going to get to the level of Christopher Nolan. Let's be honest. Like, again, I've said this before. He's a once in a generation director. Like most film, I mean, I would never say I wouldn't like while I have my issues with Tenet, but like and it's probably one of his few, at least as far as I'm concerned, it's one of his few misses. But then I've got to rewatch it. So I think the problem was with that film. I was like, I mean, you hear all the time. Around about the time it was released, you heard quite a lot. It was, who the fuck is mixing the audio for this movie?
Yeah.
And it's very true because it was released straight to
DVD.
Streaming.
She's streaming, that's right.
Oh, right, it was so
I would have loved to see it in cinema.
Yeah, well, it was COVID though, and we couldn't. Yeah. But the thing is, like, like. We watched it at home, and the sound mix was fucking. What the hell? I was like, "What the fuck is going on with this?" You could barely hear anyone talking, and like the score was like like with Inception. The score is perfect, the audio is perfect. Like there's no issues with it in Inception. In Inception, it's immaculate. With Tenet, it was just a bit too obnoxious. But I think it's because, like, I mean, I know, like, Christopher Nolan got a bit of flack for this. He said it was designed to be seen in the cinema.
That's a bit of a boomer.
Yeah, I mean, but
every movie are designed to be made in cinema.
True, right? But things also like the audio. I think there should have been a little bit more care. I mean, okay, look, if it's made for cinema, it's made for cinema. But some care should have been taken, at least like because they had about 6 months maybe, right? And Warner Brothers or Syncopete or whoever else, have a bit of force. Maybe should have had a bit of foresight. I mean, it's easy to say this in 2020 hindsight, but maybe they should have had the foresight and kind of remixed the movie, right?
For like a home audience.
Exactly. I think like you should have maybe toned down the audio a little bit and properly so people ain't straining to hear what people are saying.
Maybe like push it like maybe a couple of weeks, maybe something like that.
Maybe. Or better yet, if Warner Brothers had a fucking spine in their back. I mean, look at it this way: Top Gear was supposed to have been released during the COVID period, right?
Which Top Gear?
Not Top Gear, sorry, Top Gun.
Oh,
Top Gun Maverick. Sorry, Top Gun Maverick was supposed to have been released during COVID. Tom Cruise turned around and said, "No, you're not putting it straight to fucking streaming. You're going to wait until the cinemas reopen."
And he was right.
It made over $1 billion.
Yeah, you just wait.
Exactly. Hold your.
Tenet should have wait, but I think it was pushed as well. Like
no, that was down to Warner Brothers. The reason, do you know why? Like Oppenheimer was released with Universal and not with Warner Brothers?
Because of the Tenet.
Because of Tenet. Because of the release of it. Because basically, Tenet, Warner Brothers shut a brick, right, and thought cinemas were never going to reopen again, right?
It was the end of cinema.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, everyone that was the talk at the time, wasn't it?
Like it's always like that, when there's one thing, like it's going to be the end of cinema. When the first vinyl was created, the first way to record music outside of a concert, this is going to kill concerts because people are going to watch at home and stuff like that.
Exactly.
What big industry always say, there's going to be the end of this or the end of that. They're always wrong because you never know when it's going to be the end of something. Yeah,
but also another thing, like some dopey people in stupidly well-paid jobs who clearly they don't have the fucking notion of don't have a notion of what they're fucking doing, right? At the end of the day, human beings are social animals, right? And there was when at the end of COVID there was a pent-up demand to go out and see cinema, and also because we are a social species, things like live music, things like cinema, theatre, we have these social art forms for a fucking reason. Yes, television's great when you're at home, and like I like my art, and I like to go to a gallery sometimes and see, and be around other people appreciating art.
But like the more we go back in time, the more we go further in time, and the more you're going to realize that, like, at the time, people will say, like, we're never going to live a life like before ever again or stuff like that. COVID will always be there. We are like scarred forever. No, we're not. Like, I'll tell you, the moment where COVID was gone, everything was back to normal. People will go back to cinema, seeing Oppenheimer, Top Gun, and Barbie movie.
Yeah,
it's like nothing happened. All those people say, like, this is the end of the world. This is the end of this. This is the end of that. It's It's never that. It's like in the series Witcher, there's a moment I really like when the character of Geralt of Rivia, played by Henry Cavill.
Henry Cavill, yeah.
Henry Cavill.
So I
And
escaped
say
me there for a second.
I've been through 7 ends of the world, 18 plagues, because he lived very long time. So like,
Yeah.
it's always the end of the world. Like literally, it's always the end of the world.
Well, yeah. I mean, this is the thing. Is like, I mean, we have this kind of propensity as a species to kind of shit the bed. You know, every
When
time
there's
something
something's wrong, yeah.
yeah, something goes sideways, and we kind of panic, and it's like, oh, it's never going to be the same again. And then it ends up becoming the same.
It's like it's the same as well. Like like when we go back to All Quiet on the Western Front, we said like World War One would be it was so horrible,
The war
so
to end all wars.
It was so cruel, so terrible. They would never do war again.
Yeah, that worked out
And
well,
then,
didn't it?
How many years later? 4 years later?
Well,
Count 5. So it's 18. So 18, 19, 20, 21, 22.
about 20 odd years later.
20 years later?
Well, it was 1919 to 1934.
Yeah.
No, not 34. 37 was
40,
it?
1940. 37, yeah.
Yeah, 37.
Yeah, like
It's 1937.
before
so
it went global, like, yeah.
yeah, it was like, well, 37 is when Hitler invaded Poland anyway, and that's what kicked it all off. But so yeah, between 1919 and it was
Yeah, I think 40 was the involvement of the Americans.
28 years.
28 years, yeah.
28 fucking years.
The people-
That's all it took before World War II kicked off. Do you know what I mean? And it's not to say there wasn't wars all over the place. And at the end of the day, look, we are fucking, as I like to say, we're the least dumb monkeys. You know, we don't really fucking learn, which is a bit of a shame, really, because history repeating itself, that should be a fucking joke.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? We repeat ourselves all the fucking time. It's retarded.
But like going back to Tenet or to Christopher Nolan in general, like I don't think that the cinema do not. If I remove COVID-19 of Tenet, I don't think it would have saved Tenet.
No, because it did have its issues. Let's be fucking honest, man.
Even the sound thing or stuff like that, the movie has an issues. For that, I'm going to stop talking about it. But we can. I personally going to stop talking about it because we need to talk about it in another episode. Watching Tenet.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
I'm selling other like videos, like
Keep
in the future.
keep watching here, folks.
Keep watching. Yeah, we'll talk about Tenet.
Yeah, in next week's episode.
No, we're not.
Well, I know we're not doing it next week. I was being somewhat frivolous, my good
Okay,
man.
sorry about that.
That's all right. I'll forgive you just this once.
I thought you forget the plan. Yeah, it's all part of the plan.
All right, yeah, which we will reveal at the end. So stay tuned. Stay
So,
tuned.
for
Stay
surprise.
tuned.
There we go.
So revealing future plans, but yeah, I mean, in terms of like Inception, Christopher Nolan in general, like Inception. Look, let's be frank, is a fucking amazing film. If I was to rate it, it would be in fucking high 9s.
Yeah, of
right.
course,
It's just such a good film.
It's a very, very good film. Like,
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. Is like I was going to turn around and say, "Oh, yeah, it's my favorite film. It's top 3." Then you mentioned a rake of other ones. It's like,
oh, like Nolan, like you keep going, like
exactly. I mean, like he's got a fucking hit parade of brilliant movies.
When you say your top 3 movies, I think Christopher Nolan movies should be in your top 3. Like just Christopher Nolan movies. Like just like it's like I like Star Wars. I like Christopher Nolan movies. It's everything. It's same for Wes Anderson. Like Wes Anderson movies.
I haven't seen enough of Wes Anderson.
I seen more than you did, but I kind of love.
I know you love his work. Though.
I like his style, but like also very intimate, and he talk about like some director lose the way to talk about people, like, and make also maybe sometimes is a fault of director, sometimes it's a fault of actor, but like a movie is about people, like
Well, look at it this way, right? If you look at any major franchise, what is it that people resonate with the most? Star Wars. Who do people resonate with? Han Solo, Luke Skywalker,
it's an
Leia.
epic. The thing with Star Wars is an epic.
No, yeah, but the thing is, like, if you look at the fandom, right, what do they resonate with? They resonate with the characters.
The bad guy, the good guys, the hero.
The characters. The characters. I mean, like, again, like, so yeah, what if you go to like a Comic-Con or like a convention of any kind and you see people cosplaying, you'll see people cosplaying as Leia, as Luke Skywalker, as Han Solo, or, whatever characters, Darth Vader, like, they're cosplaying as the characters. The same applies to any other franchise, Marvel, DC, you fucking name it. They identify with the characters.
the problem with Marvel, you're saying, you
Right,
identify
so
with the character.
right, so yeah, let me right. So they identify with the characters, and that's the thing is like if you're not whatever your fucking movie is, like whatever your story is, if you don't have characters that resonate, now, like yeah, if you don't have characters that resonate, right, then your film is not going to be successful. Your franchise is not going to be successful. The reason for that is because with any good story, you need to resonate with the characters. You need to resonate with their ambitions, their plights, their the hero's journey is a very common one. You know, the stumbles that a character goes through in order to. I mean, this is why me and you we kind of mentioned it before. Captain Marvel. Captain Marvel was not a great hero movie because
She was Mary Sue.
She was a Mary Sue, exactly. I mean, she was like from the beginning to the end. She was practically perfect.
She never failed. She never she at the beginning. So she was. I always said that same thing. She's shown she's with this group that we sell her that's a family, but she didn't even trust the family at the beginning of the movie. So she already know they're the bad guys. She have already a hint that they're the bad guy.
Exactly.
It's just like she was too perfect, too good, too perfect. She's too smart. She's just like she never failed. She always see it coming and stuff like that. It's great for you. Like it doesn't make anything interesting.
No.
But what I think about the problem with the superhero genre is that they're playing like character that you already know, like from outside of comics, from outside of things. Like Iron Man would have never said that, or I don't know, like the thing that was in my head, for example, Star Wars, and people that look like 3 movies with Mark Hamill character, Mark Hamill portrait of Luke Skywalker, and then when the episode,
whichever one it was,
episode 8,
the Last Jedi,
the episode 8 come out, it's like. Luke would never done that or stuff like that. Even Mark Hamill say this, it's like my character would have never done that, but you're the director, you want to do this, it's your choice. And and some people like possess those characters and say like, oh, you shouldn't do that, should do that.
In fairness, if the actor's turning around and saying it, who's the guy who's playing it, then
for so many years,
that's a problem. That's a problem.
The thing with those movies like Christopher Nolan, with those movie that doesn't go to universe or like those characters. Those characters you never know. From the moment you start the movie, you don't know that character.
Yeah, no. But the thing is, the point I'm making. Well, okay, in terms of storytelling.
Yeah.
Right. Of any kind.
Yeah.
The first thing you need to iron out is the characters, because they're the people that you. Because what you say is right. In terms of intimacy, you have to care about what they're going through. You have to care about the dynamics within the characters.
Yeah.
You have to care about. Like for instance, with Cobb, the Cobb and the kind of internal warfare between himself and the projection of his wife.
It's for that
and the guilt that he holds and everything else.
It's for that also that the Guardians of the Galaxy work very well, because they focus on each character, and there is a real growth. There is failure, there is regret, there is growth, and that's why the Guardians of the Galaxy it's a great movie.
Yeah,
and it's also we don't focus much on all the characters. Some are more of a window more than anything else. I'm talking about the one of
Ariadne,
the Elliot Page character is the window of the audience to understand what are the keys to understand that
world,
but like that concept of a dream within a dream and stuff like that.
Yeah. When I say the world, I mean like the world contained within the movie. I mean the concept of the movie, also, the concepts of the movie, the technology behind whatever is going on.
I find it a bit strange that when they start the last heist and everything go wrong, everything that could have been wrong go wrong. So like his brain is the
best laid plans.
It's basically Joseph Gordon character.
Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
Joseph Gordon-Levitt a character failed to background check and knew that he was actually trained against Inception, or at the beginning it's not called Inception, it's called
Extraction.
Extraction is it's trained against dream extraction, the fucking biologist, or not biologist, chemist,
Yeah.
who forgot to mention that, oh, by the way, if you die in that where you're extremely sedated with my formula, that like, oh, I keep talking about that formula, it's so great. Maybe I should have talked about that,
Yeah.
because you could have died like by accident, like in a dream or stuff like that,
Yeah.
like yeah. Oh, by the way, those two people never been in a dream before. Maybe I should tell that before they go inside or stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's just like oh fuck, it was like forgot to be. It's part of a plot. To be fair, it's just a plot device. Just like they forgot to mention this or they forgot to mention that, and then everything.
Yeah, true. I mean, like, this is the thing. Is like, but even then, like the best laid plans do often do fail. Where it doesn't, even if you have all the information and all.
For that, I'm sorry to say that. It's all the tropes, like the plan that fell in the middle of the plan. It's all the tropes of a heist movie.
Yeah,
You have to improvise.
Yeah, it's a great fucking film.
It's the best heist movie of all time.
See, the thing is, like, whenever
What's the name of the Now You See Me thing? Like, fuck that. Like, no. But like,
Now You See Me.
Now You See Me do the magic heist
Oh,
movie.
that film's so shit.
This movie is the best heist movie.
Yeah, this film is a fucking amazing heist movie. Yeah, Now You See Me. I don't know if anyone's ever seen that movie, but it's the most contrived bullshit I've ever seen. They're not magicians, they're fucking wizards. And at the end, Mark Ruffalo's character turns around and goes, I was the guy watching over you all the time when
But
he was
those ones are better wizards. Like,
stupid fucking film.
I prefer this movie because they're better wizard. They're better wizard than the guy.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
But that's the thing. It's like, you know what you were saying earlier on. In lesser hands, Now You See Me,
Yeah.
or Christopher Nolan, Inception.
Yeah.
Right. So one movie is fucking bollocks.
But they made so many of it.
What?
But they make 3 of them.
I mean, 2.
Oh,
I don't know if they made 3. I
don't know.
I mean, I watched the first one. The first one's rubbish. The second one, I don't think I've seen. And if there was a third one, obviously no one's fucking aware that it exists for good fucking reason. Stupid film.
Like, what genre is it into? Like,
What?
like it is a heist movie.
Yeah,
But like,
you're right. It's a heist movie.
What's the genre that is classified in?
Oh, I don't know. I don't.
A trailer, or like
Action movie. I'm sure there's like a lot of like things you can attribute to it too.
action. It's very action, to be fair.
Yeah, it is very. There's a lot of action in it, and there's a lot of like high stakes. A lot of the action is at very high stakes and whatever else. But yeah, this is the thing. Is like you got like the ideas, the concepts, everything else behind it. Right. This is what happens when you've got like a top tier director who has complete control over it from beginning to end. And one thing I love about it, it's a fucking one and done. There's no like, oh yeah, Inception 2, Inception 3, Inception 4.
It's one and done.
Yeah, Inception fucking 2, Electric Boogaloo.
Mr. Cub, you have to go back again.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, yeah.
There's never been any of that. Do you know what I mean? It was a one and done. And I was just having a look at the box office here, right? Box office this is in 2010 money, right? 2010 money. It pulled worldwide $825 million. That's fucking bananas. Fair play to it, mate.
My favorite scene, visually, is the cafe scene. Do you know when she
Yeah.
realizes and everything exploded? Like that's one of the.
What was the budget? Actually,
I think that's one of the most. That's one of the most hyper, like one of the most like surreal moments when everything you're like.
Yeah, it's like the visuals on that were like when everything starts bending round and folding in on itself, and oh mate, it just looks fucking phenomenal. It really does. I mean, like, I know that the one thing I'll say about Christopher Nolan, because Christopher Nolan's like $160 million budget. That's so you're probably looking at about, if you're looking at inflation, you're probably looking at somewhere around the $200 million mark, right? That film, oh god, man, it looks fucking amazing. Do you know what I mean? In terms of in terms of the quality, I mean, fuck my life. It looks phenomenal. It sounds phenomenal. It just what a film. And the fact that and it really does play. Like, this is one of these films. Like, and again, I've got no issue with film companies once they actually know what they're spending their fucking money on. No issues with film companies like spending money and making an amazing piece of art, right? And Inception justifies it, because it made its money back and made a profit. And, Warner Brothers, by all accounts, were really fucking happy with it at the time.
Yeah.
Right? They were so happy, like, basically, they were happy enough with Christopher Nolan that they financed these movies up until Tenet. It shows here on the budget that the budget for Tenet was 205 million USD.
Yeah, no, yeah.
Right.
And we went back to 100 million.
An Oppenheimer, yeah.
Yeah, it went down from like 100, like
half the budget, but
half
obviously,
the budget.
yeah, but also at the same time, this is a very different style of film.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So it doesn't require the same amount of financial investment, but that's the thing, though. I mean, like, that film looks.
Amazing.
I wouldn't say it looks expensive. It looks phenomenal.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? The photography is amazing. The special effects, when they do incorporate them, is phenomenal. But also, like, the fact that it captures most of it in camera.
Yeah.
It's just like there's so much like artistry involved. It looks phenomenal. Do you know what I mean? It really fucking does. I cannot praise it highly enough. Like, and it's not just how good it looks, but how inventive it is. Like you're saying earlier on, that scene with Ariadne and Cobb, when, like, he's explaining the dream world to her, and then she starts experimenting and fucking around and moving things about in the dream world.
So that scene when the two mirrors is actually like if you don't have knowledge of
Paris
camera, if you don't have knowledge of cameras and do like how movies are made.
Yeah,
it's a cool scene. Like, oh, there's like an infinity mirror like thing and stuff like that. The camera should be there.
Yes,
the camera should be there. If I take a mirror here right now and I put it there, you're gonna see the camera. It's just like you don't see it, and it's one of the things that make me smile. I just like love it.
Yes,
it's like people was like, oh, it's cool. Like, it's just like a mirror is flipping around and stuff like that. No, it's just like it's so cool. It's magic. The camera shouldn't be there, but it is not. It should be there, but it's not there.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's the thing, though. I mean, like,
that's one of the scene that's just like, oh, that's so fucking cool. That's so fucking cool to do that. Like, there's also a cool scene, but this scene, if you're like, if you know your cinema, if you know like how movies are made, that scene every time I see it blow my mind, and I know it's CGI. Nowadays, like, it's hard to be blown mind now because, like, oh, they just did After Effects, like stuff like that,
Yeah.
They just did CGI. They just hide the CGI. The thing is, yes, but at the time it was more difficult at the time in 2010 than today. Like, yeah.
Well, no, I mean,
technology evolved.
Technology has evolved since then, obviously, but even back then, I mean, it was done. But it would, let's just say, it would have been easier to do now than it would have been back then. But yeah, you are right.
Yeah,
like
it's still an excellent job because if you think this job is easy, it isn't. It's never easy.
No, I mean, the thing is, like, in terms of photography in general, everyone most people think, oh yeah, it's just picking the camera up and clicking the button, isn't it? No, it fucking ain't. If you don't understand composition, if you don't, like, some of the composition in the shots is fucking phenomenal. Like, and to understand composition in a still photograph is hard enough.
For example,
but to understand it in a motion picture, that's different.
Yeah. For example, like, I'm watching a random a Spanish TV series with my parents on Netflix, stuff like that. And at some point, like, I'm watching, and there's a shot when the thing went through the camera went through the windshield, through like a small space and then come back in. It's like, oh, that's actually cool because it's just like I wonder how they did it. Like, what? Because nobody saw that. It's like Panic Room. Is it Panic Room or The Room? No, The Room is like
no, that's the
but Panic Room by David Fincher.
Oh yeah.
When you see the camera going through the kitchen thing and stuff like that, and the camera just go through the handle, between the handle of the teapot or stuff like that. That go through the handle. That's so cool. But at the time you don't see it because if you have no knowledge of how movies are made, it's just like, oh yeah, the camera go through there. But like, the camera is huge. Yeah, just like,
especially like, another thing about the way Christopher Nolan shows.
The best kind of magic is when you don't see it, and people don't see it. For example, like in the mirror scene, people don't see it.
Yeah,
but like because it's like so close to real life that you can see through something, so it doesn't matter. But just think it's a camera. It's not your eyes or it's not your imagination or stuff like that. It's a physical camera. and basically, of course, it's made in CGI and stuff like that. So that's how it's made.
Well, no, actually, no. That could be done. That was done entirely practically.
Some of the
And a bit of clever editing.
it was doing it with a bit of CGI. The camera, most of it was in practical. We're talking about the panic room,
Right.
thing. So mostly was in the practical, and the handle, the teapot, the camera going through the teapot. This was CGI because you cannot go through with an IMAX cinema thing. But like for the
IMAX cameras, by the way, just for reference, are fucking gigantic.
Yes. And for this scene of the bridge where the two mirrors thing, it would have been possible and just like do like cut and get the camera and the crew out.
Yeah.
Or do like you can use like what a lot of directors at the time would have done is put a hole into the glass and shoot through it. So you see the hole, and when you patch the hole, After Effects, like anywhere work. But like it's just a brilliant thing to see. Going back to the movie, what I love about Interstellar that it made people talk after the movie because of that one scene.
Interstellar or Inception?
I'm sorry, Inception.
Inception, yes.
I'm saying Interstellar.
You said
at the end of Inception is the end that just make you talk about it, because as the movie said, idea could be like it just give you is a virus is a idea is a virus.
Yeah, it's a virus. Yeah.
And basically, it gives you the slint of idea that maybe it was still in the dream.
Yeah.
And you know what? It does work when you look back in the movie.
Yeah.
Because a lot of time, some character who have no connection with other character will say the same line. For example, like the character of the Japanese. Can you get back the name there just a second?
Yeah, sure, no worries.
I know his name, but I can't remember. Like
Saito's character, Ken Watanabe.
Ken Watanabe. Is like take a leap of faith. They say that at the beginning of the movie, and that's exactly the same line that she said before she jumped, like stuff like that.
Yeah.
There's always line that come back. There's always.
And he says it at the very end as well.
Yeah, the leap of faith. No, because he said that to bring him back.
Yeah.
And same there's for example, like when they're in Mombasa and he's there, they always it's there to help him, and hello, hi. It's just like everything go perfectly together,
Yeah.
without and also when he's in Mombasa, that's the part that tell you maybe he's in a dream. He's been chased by the subconscious mind.
The kind of, what was it, the train, because his subconscious was trained against extraction, so therefore there was these implanted soldiers with guns and shit like that chasing him right down. And
there's because of his wife just framed him for a murder. That
as well.
Yeah, and all those policemen and all those things are chasing him.
No, that wasn't because of her. That was because
Mombasa. I'm talking about the Mombasa scene.
The Mombasa scene, when the crowds are running against.
No. In Mombasa, when you're going to recruit the character of Tom Hardy, and somebody came, that's supposed to be real life.
Yeah.
And come somebody come at the counter and was like, "Oh, what's my bounty on my head again?" And he just tried to escape them.
No, I think that was real life, because
that was real life.
That was real life.
It looked like it is a dream because it's always people trying to kill him.
Yeah.
Yeah, and at the end of the movie as well, the character of Marion Cotillard say it does look like you've been chased, by the subconscious of yourself, basically.
Yeah.
In the real world, she makes sure that it does look like.
Oh yeah.
So basically,
Yeah.
By creating that atmosphere of being chased, cannot go back home to being hunted.
Yeah.
If he's in a dream, he's being hunted by the client or these the target subconscious. He's also targeted in real life.
Yes.
There's a target on his back. Everybody is looking for him, and everybody wants him dead or
or captured.
Or captured. Yeah.
Pardon me
so
again.
It's for that. It's hard to know. It's what he give so many questions about if. Is it still in a dream, or is it in real life?
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing, is the film keeps you on your toes pretty much throughout this entire runtime, right up to the point where you come to the very last piece. Because the thing is, that when after he wakes up, after he brings back or you think he's brought back Saito,
in Mombasa.
right?
In Mombasa.
No. At the end, I'm talking about the end of the movie.
Yeah.
Everyone's woken up, yeah?
Yeah.
Like, he wakes up and the score really lifts to this kind of like beautiful, almost idyllic,
It's
happy,
the same score until the end.
Yeah, it really does lift. It really does kind of pump. It really does hit the
And
feels.
you finish with one note at the end.
Yeah, but that's the thing is, like, he wakes up and all the characters are there and everyone's smiling.
Nobody says anything.
No one says anything.
It's just like
no one says anything. And he walks through customs and they give him the stamp. Thank you. Welcome back to America, Mr. Cobb. He walks through. Everyone's kind of smiling. The music, like the score's really
keep going,
up there.
Yeah.
And then he goes in. He's picked up by Michael Caine, who plays his dad.
you see his face of his children for the first time.
You see the face of his children for the first time. You think, oh, happy endings, but he puts down the thing and he spins it.
No, if he spins it, then
Yeah.
he sees children. He doesn't care about like if
Yeah,
he's
he
in the
walks
world.
away.
He walks away. He doesn't want to see.
And
if,
what does the camera do? It slowly pans
Yeah.
back, comes down, and you see it wobble and spin and wobble, and it cuts. And it's like, right, was that a dream or wasn't it?
Yes, that's the end of the movie.
That's
Like,
the end of the movie.
And then you finish on that like a menacing movie. Do like almost like it like after the score of the
Yeah.
and then like it stopped. And there's like do like the entering movie, the entering music,
Yeah.
like a bit of uncertainty.
Yes.
At the credit, it gives you that uncertainty. Like,
So
you're
you
like,
walk
yeah.
away. It's basically the idea is for you to walk out of the movie theater thinking, well, it's unsatisfying.
No, it is satisfying.
No, it's not. It's unsatisfying because there isn't a resolution.
There is for the character, but for the audience, they still don't know.
That's for when you walk out of the cinema.
Yeah.
Right, you walk out of the cinema unsatisfied.
No, there are people who are satisfied when they walk out.
That's not what I mean.
I know, like it's not.
Can I explain my point?
It's not the word
Before you interrupt.
unsatisfied that you're
Right,
looking for.
look, listen. Let me explain my point. Right, let me explain my point. Right, you're an audience member.
Starving. They lived it starving. No, okay, unsatisfying. Go on.
Thank you. Right, you're sitting there as an audience member. Right, that last scene plays out. Right, cuts to black. Inception. Credits roll. Right. You sit there, right? Because this is how I felt after I watched it.
Okay.
I sat down and was like, "What? Wait a minute, it hasn't fallen. What? Why have they cut there? What the fuck? Is that last scene real or not?
Yeah.
Because you get the happy ending up until a point where you don't see the totem fall.
It just took it away. It took your happy.
Yeah, exactly. It took that satisfaction away.
It took your happy ending away. Not I won't say the satisfaction, but it took the happy ending.
It took my satisfaction
It
away.
took your ending away because it's like
Because it leaves you with uncertainty.
Here we go. This is the end, and at the end it's like maybe not, and then cut.
Yeah, but the things. I'm not saying this is a fucking criticism. I'm saying this is that level. It takes a fucking director who actually knows what the fuck he's doing and who has a very clear idea. Like that was that. I would not be too surprised if that was basically, the ending he was working to throughout the entirety of the film. He wanted you to walk away with that level of uncertainty. That is that dream or is that real life? Do you know what I mean? Or real life within the context of the film. So like, because you walk away with that level of uncertainty, there's something it's something unsatisfying about it. Not unsatisfying in a bad way where you walk out of it that it sours the film. It doesn't. It heightens it. It's like you walk away from it and it's just like straight away, like almost straight away. So if you're there with a couple of pals, like you walk out, as you're walking out the movie and it's like what the fuck just happened there at the end? Did that thing fall? No, it didn't. So was it a dream or wasn't it? I don't know. That's the thing. You walk it straight away. You're questioning it, and that is fucking amazing.
But there is clue in the movie if you watch it again. That's why it's great about Inception. Is people have to watch it again to figure it out.
Yeah.
So people realize that when he's in the dream world, he's wearing his
wedding ring.
His wedding ring, and when it's real life, he doesn't.
Yeah.
Also, Michael Caine asked Christopher Nolan is it at the end? Is it a dream? And Christopher Nolan said like, "Oh, Michael Caine, if you're in the scene, it's real life." So don't think. So like you can just keep asking him about this.
Yeah.
Like if you're in the scene, that's a real life. If you're not, that's a dream.
Yeah.
So because he's in the scene, it's real life because you never saw a scene with Michael Caine while there. Like.
Yeah, true. I mean, look, you can do that. I mean, we can go around in circles talking about it, but I'm not. For me, it's not a case of whether or not it's real or not. I mean, to be quite honest with you, I don't think that's the important part to be talking about.
It should be. It should be. Do you know what? It shouldn't be revealed. It's like the end of Blade Runner. It shouldn't be revealed at the end if it's a replicant or not.
Exactly.
The mystery should be that.
Yeah.
I don't think is. I don't think. I don't like the word that you say that you unsatisfied. Because you're still satisfied about the movie, it gives you an ending, but what you have, you left without
Uncertain.
conclusion. You left without a conclusion.
Yeah, uncertain.
Without not you have a conclusion, but you left without like a clear conclusion.
No, look, again, not a clear conclusion is not a fucking conclusion.
Yeah.
Right. This is the thing. I mean, I'm not saying again when I say right, you are not satisfied. As in, when I say you're satisfied, is you're not satisfied. Well, when I say you're not satisfied, what I mean by that is there is not a satisfactory conclusion. The conclusion is left uncertain. Therefore, you are uncertain. So, therefore, you're not left satisfied.
Okay, I retract everything.
Okay, thank you. Does my point stand?
Do you feel better now?
I feel wonderful.
Okay, perfect.
I feel like I've won the fucking Olympics.
Okay, cool.
I hope you
won the triathlon there. There you go.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, I'm very happy. So if I'm happy, you should be happy too.
Oh yeah, very. But like yeah, the ending that give the ending that Inception give us is basically what makes such a great success.
It elevates it,
and also it push people to watch it again. It pushed people to watch it again, to analyze this movie. Like, and I think that Christopher movie should always be analyzed a little bit, and people should be rewarded for analyzing a movie.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing. It's like, it's one. I mean, the great thing about it is it clearly, it clearly shows you the mechanics of the film, like what the mechanics of the world are, what the mechanics within the dream world are. It does that extremely well.
And at the end, like you make a movie, and at the end, everything should be connected to the end. Everything should be like there's no scene that's left like like separate or stuff like that. Like a movie should be talking to like every part. Like what's great about Inception, every part of the movie are talking to each other.
Yeah,
that's what I like about Christopher Nolan. Like his movie are extremely like it's all connected. It's all like I think there's no and and people like look again and watch it. Same with Tenet, people are watching again, but people are try to
analyze it, discuss it amongst themselves. Yeah, that's the thing. That's what's wonderful about films like this. What you're talking about them for all the right reasons, for what the creators are intending. Do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. It's not like you're sitting there slating it because of one reason or another, or you're finding things to have a fucking row about. You're coming away from it with this kind of wonderful sense of like you've seen the vision of an auteur director with an amazing team behind him, mm-hmm. who have created something magical. Do you know what I mean? And it is magical. Mm-hmm. I mean, like there isn't enough. I know. To say there isn't enough people of that quality, there's never going to be enough people of that kind of quality. They're always going to be in shortage. And also sometimes they're not valued enough. I mean, like Christopher Nolan he kind of creates this alchemy between being an auteur and being financially successful, to the point where like movie studios are willing to give him north of $100 million, knowing that whatever it is that he creates, whatever amazing worlds he conjures up,
and they basically have like entire freedom of motion.
Yeah, exactly. Like basically, here's the money. We know you're going to do amazing things. Away you go.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, there's not that many film directors that are going to be capable of being able to do that. But the fact that we have Christopher Nolan, I think it should be while we have him, we should enjoy him while he's here with us. And I'm not saying he's going to die anytime soon. Hopefully, he has a long and productive career for another 20, 25 years. He's been going since 19. Like the first film I watched of his was Memento, and that came out in '99, I do believe, with Guy Pearce and Carrie-Anne Moss. And I just thought that film was fantastic. It still is. It really holds up very, very well. Although, you know what? I've never seen because I've seen the original theatrical release, God knows how many times, but I've never seen the version where it's told in
What?
chronological order. I've never seen it.
What? There's two movies?
There's a version of Memento, because apparently it was like hidden within the DVD release. And you could actually watch the film in chronological order. And apparently it's almost as good as the original.
So there's no okay, but I think the point of the movie that you don't, because you're following that character that's amnesia, and you follow the movie like people with amnesia will busy. It's a detective.
It's a murder mystery.
It's such a brilliant idea. It's a murder mystery where the detective has amnesia. Like, keep having amnesia.
Yeah,
it's the most impossible things to do. Like, you're like, yeah.
And that's the thing, though. I mean, the fact that he's able to do that, the fact that he's able to, the fact that he's able to take these concepts, these bizarre, balmy fucking concepts, and make these amazing movies.
Yeah.
It really does kind of. I can't gush about this fucking director any more than I already am.
What is if I like that's my way to decorticate Memento. If I have to decorticate, just like do like
is that a French term?
Just keep everything to its purest form,
Yeah.
Like as I say, Memento is a detective trying to find the murder of his wife.
Yeah.
But he has amnesia. Like no, it's not amnesia. He has
he can't make any new memories.
Memory, like a short-term memory loss. That's the thing. It's basically and then he forgot.
Yeah, because he can't make new memories.
He can make new memories. So he has short-term memories. I like what Inception is. Inception is like a heist. So like it's a man who's like forced to heist to one last job to find to reconnect with his family.
Yeah,
but it has to do heist in the dream. It's just like the dream part is like because we can see Inception.
But things it's not.
I can see Inception happening.
It's a heist where they don't take anything. It's a heist where they put something back.
Yes, actually.
Do you know what I mean?
They just like they don't take it. They just like live.
They're
something.
putting it in.
But
go through all this trouble just to give you something.
But just take Inception, but remove the dream part. It will still be a great movie. But because they put the dream part in it, it's just making like extraordinary. What is Tenet? Tenet is a James Bond movie. There's a big bad guy who wants to destroy the world.
Yeah.
Yeah. And there's this guy who is an agent and try to
bring down the bad guy.
Bring the bad guy down. That's what is movie. That's what is Tenet. But what's the extra plus on Tenet is that the
whole time-wimey business.
What is Dunkirk, for example? Dunkirk is a story of a soldier trying to save his life. What is the catch? It's like the timeline is completely puzzled out.
Yeah.
But they all connected.
It's like the theme is what connects it. Do you know what I mean?
The event Dunkirk is what connected everybody.
Yeah, exactly. The event, the timeline of the Dunkirk retreat. That whole kind of timeline. Which was told over a few hours, but it was told from the point of view of each of the characters. It was not told. There was no respect given to the actual timeline in terms of like, the narrative timeline. It was like, okay, we're going to focus on this character at this event, and this character at this event, and this character at this event. But somehow, because it's Christopher fucking Nolan, it all ties together beautifully.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I mean, this is the thing. It's like, again, the guy is a fucking phenom. He's a one-off. He's like... There is not going to be another director like him in my lifetime. I don't think.
And what is the Prestige? The Prestige is like the movie. What if I just make the movie like this? It's just two competing magicians try to best each other.
Yeah.
But the twist is, maybe I shouldn't say it, but like it's the thing, like real magic is involved. It's not magic, it's science. But like because
Nikola Tesla's involved.
Science could look like magic, but it's real magic is involved.
Yeah. Oh, it's just God, man, that film is fucking bananas.
Bananas as well,
brilliant.
because it surprised you because he give you like real character. He give you like a.
You actually feel the rivalry between like Hugh Jackman's character and
during the movie
Christian Bale's character.
They keep telling you that magic is not real. Like in the movie, they keep telling you that magic is not real. Like Caine, was it Michael Caine?
Yeah.
Like tell you the trick of the bird thing was like the guy show a little parakeet bird.
Yeah.
And put it
in
the
cage.
Crush the cage and then put the parakeet bird in his hand. And
But-
they tell you that the bird in the cage died, and the one in his coat is a lookalike. It's like
Yeah.
it's the twin
Yeah.
of the thing. Yeah.
But that's things. But also,
There's a
what
twist
it,
as well, like, there's a
what it
twist.
beautifully does is it kind of gives you the
the hint of the movie.
yeah,
that's
because in the movie, like Christian Bale's character was actually two brothers,
Yeah.
two identical twins who lived two separate lives, and that kind of fucking ruined them in the end because it ruined their marriages and it ruined everything else.
because one was not in love with the wife that he has,
Yeah.
but they have to keep the secret going.
Exactly. It's just like something complete. I mean, what that man's able to fucking do is just unbelievable. He's a one-off. He's like, there is no, like I said, there's never going to be another director like him in my lifetime, in your lifetime, and anyone else's.
Look, what I like about
It's amazing.
What I like about Oppenheimer is a story about like a story about somebody in World War II. You like, and none you see an image of World War II. None you see an image of the army or military or confrontation. None you see the image of thing. You don't see anything.
No.
It's a war movie where you don't see the war.
Yeah.
It's actually great. It's just.
This is the thing. Lesser directors, and again, I pointed this out with The Imitation Game, right? Because again, like they both feature a very similar through line. You got Robert J. Oppenheimer. Or J. Robert Oppenheimer, sorry.
Two historical.
And you got Alan Turing, right?
Yeah.
So both of them at the same time, for different countries, were responsible for technological advances. One the computer, one the atomic bomb.
One was the sheer power, and the other one was the information.
Yeah, both of them equally powerful. Because without either of them, without Oppenheimer or Alan Turing, look, if we didn't have Alan Turing, the iPhone that we're shooting this very podcast on would not be possible because it was him who came up with the concept of the thinking machine. So, and the fact that we start, and the measurement for AI is the Turing test. So there's power being unleashed there, and also with Oppenheimer, not just H bombs and A bombs, but also nuclear power. The fact that we're able to build power stations and use nuclear radiation to heat up water, to drive turbines, to make energy. It's amazing.
We turn like nuclear fission, and maybe in the future, it's because of him that we probably have nuclear
fusion. Yeah, exactly. It's because of these people that are responsible for the world that we live in today. And the thing is, like, with Alan, both of them as individuals are equally like brilliant men. But
their flaws.
Yeah. But the thing is, with Christopher Nolan with Oppenheimer, right? That movie is amazing.
You're in the mind of Oppenheimer.
Yeah, it takes a director to truly, it takes probably a director, a great visual director, to truly be able to visualize and to maybe to some extent understand the mind of a man like J. Robert Oppenheimer. But the thing is, if you look at The Imitation Game, as brilliant as Alan Turing was, and as good as the cast were at the time,
it never went into his mind. He always say it like lurking, or
it's a basic biopic.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, the cast were pretty solid. Like, I mean, Benedict Cumberbatch, Keira Knightley, all of them they did their performances and they did it solidly. It was a solid movie, solid direction, solid. It was a good watchable movie that you can watch once and never watch again. Oppenheimer is a fucking work of art. Do you know what I mean? It is. I mean, I don't like saying like all art is art, right? But Oppenheimer elevated the subject to the point. The film did justice to the subject matter to the point where like it's elevated.
Yeah.
Whereas, like I say, The Imitation Game is a solid movie, solid cast, solid director, very solid. But it's about a man who arguably is just as important as J. Robert Oppenheimer.
Yeah.
Like, if Alan Turing or any other important person, Einstein, you fucking name it, their lives were put in the hands of...
Can you imagine Christopher Nolan making Imitation Game?
This is the point.
Yeah, it would have been great.
It would have been absolutely fucking outstanding because of the fact that Christopher Nolan would be able to, in some way, get inside the mind of a brilliant person like Alan Turing. So this is the thing: is like Christopher Nolan is a one-off director. He is. I cannot understate how much I value that man's contribution to cinema.
Yeah.
In the last 20 years.
Yeah, it is great.
You know, he's a one-off. He's an absolute genius. You know, I'll quite happily extol the virtues of that man's creativity. He's a fucking phenom.
What I'm gonna say as well is, in the future, in the next 50, 100 years, or I don't know, his movie should be studied, or like.
No, they should be studied.
Huh?
Not just in 20, 50 years. They'll be studied for as long as cinema is an art form.
Yeah, there you go.
You know, he'll be one of those exemplars, like we've said earlier on. We'll say with Stanley Kubrick, with Alfred Hitchcock, with fucking Martin Scorsese. Like, you name a director, it's like these are the directors that he is in that club with. Steven Spielberg, even Quentin Tarantino. Like, there are very few directors, right, that are on that kind of level.
Yeah.
And even then, I think Christopher Nolan is up. I'd say the closest thing we've had in cinematic in the past to Christopher Nolan is probably Stanley Kubrick.
Yeah, you're right.
Do you know what I mean? It's 2001: Space Odyssey, fucking The Shining. Yeah, I mean,
this movie was supposed to be AI.
Oh, AI was supposed. Yeah, that's right. Steven Spielberg did it.
Took it.
Yeah, Steven Spielberg took that over. But yeah, that's the thing though. I mean, Stanley Kubrick was a one-off, right? He was an artist. I mean, he started off as a photographer, didn't he?
I wanted to buy the book, Stanley Kubrick, the photographer. It was like photography of his work. And he sold out. I missed it.
Oh, I'm sure there'll be another reprint.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, but yeah.
But yeah, that's the thing.
I
I mean, understandably so.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, that's the thing. Is like there are very few visual directors of that caliber. I mean, look, most films can have good visuals. I mean, or amazing visuals even. You know, like James Cameron. I mean, he's a bloody good director.
Or Denis Villeneuve.
Denis Villeneuve. I mean, like June. I'm just after finishing reading Dune Messiah, by the way. After reading the first book, I'm really into these fucking books now.
But Dune,
I should have read these books years ago.
For example, like we watch Arrival, we watch Sicario. Sicario is amazing.
Good movie.
It's an amazing movie.
Really good film.
Blade Runner 2049. It's the most stylized cartel movie ever made.
Yeah, I mean, I think Denis Villeneuve is going to be one of those like modern greats without a doubt. You know what I mean? I think it already is kind of in that.
I was going to say, is it there?
I think. Well, look. What movies have we seen of his again? Like we watched that movie Prisoners.
Arrival, Prisoners. There's other movie before Prisoners, but Prisoners, in my opinion, is his entry in the
Western market.
Western market.
Yeah.
But it was always Western. But
I mean, mainstream, shall we say?
Yeah.
Right, Prisoners was a good film. We did watch
Arrival.
We watched Arrival.
There is another one, Prisoners. There's another one I can remember but I can't remember.
Don't stress yourself.
It's okay.
But no, Denis Villeneuve is probably good. I'd say like give him another 10 years.
Yeah.
All right, if he keeps going the way he's going, he'll probably be another one of them.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Would you put Peter Jackson in there? In that great director? It is a great trilogy.
He did. Look, thing is, like in terms of films that he's made, I mean, I like some of his early like schlocky horror stuff, like Brain Dead. If you haven't watched Brain Dead, if you can't get it on streaming, please for me, find it on DVD. Buy yourself a fucking secondhand DVD player if you have to. Go watch Brain Dead.
Is it a comedy?
It's funny as fuck, man. It's such a funny film.
Is it a horror movie or is it a comedy?
It's a schlocky zombie movie,
okay.
But it's actually funny.
Okay.
It's so funny. Oh, I could cast for the Lord. Watch that film. It's so fucking good.
You see that it kind of is good in his movie. There's generally funny scene in Lord of the Rings, for example. There is generally good comedy.
Yeah, but also you got to bear in mind he directed the Hobbit trilogy, which I only watched a bit of the first one. I'm not really a big Tolkien fan, but I watched the original trilogy, the Lord of the Rings trilogy. It's pretty fucking good. I watched a little bit of the first Hobbit film. I haven't seen the rest of them. By all accounts, they're not as good by any stretch of the imagination. He did King Kong, which was okay. Visually, for the time, very good, but not the greatest movie, if I'm being honest, that I can recall. I haven't seen it in fucking near enough 20 years.
So we got to make like a tier list of all director.
No, I think it's with Peter Jackson. Peter Jackson's a very good director. I'm not going to say he's not, all right?
He did like...
but he's not up there. Look, he's not even... I mean... I don't.
No, it's not there. Do you know the movie when there's like castles and stuff like that, like cities who try to eat other cities? Is it like from a book? I think he
Oh,
produced
I know.
it.
I think I know what we're talking about. I can't remember what it's called though.
He produced it, I think.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
But no, I don't want to slag Peter Jackson off because he's a very good director. He's credit where credit's due. The man's and not only that, the man's founded Weta. Weta, one of the premier fucking special effects houses in the world. They're up there. So it's between Weta and ILM. And don't get me wrong, there's loads of good ones, but also
like, to see I think there was George Lucas who basically influenced a lot of special effects and cinema industry.
Yeah.
After there was
Weta
with
Peter Jackson,
who influenced the the beginning
2000s.
of the 2000s, and then I think Denis Villeneuve with Dune is the one that's going to influence the new era. I think like what I say is Dune is the new Lord of the Ring. It's a big trilogy, extraordinary special effect. Do you know they're not using green screen for Dune? They're using sand screen because the light reflects on the sand, so you have green sand. So that you don't want that. So they're using this technology. They use like gray or like orange green screen, and they managed to do perfectly the cut and everything.
Oh, yeah. Nice.
There's new technology being created for Dune, like.
Oh, okay.
And so what I say is Dune is our generation Lord of the Ring. Lord of the Ring was our generation Star Wars. And Star Wars was like basically the...
Yeah, but also you got fucking... I always say The Matrix was my Star Wars. Unfortunately, the trilogy doesn't hold up.
You're wrong. It was not. It was...
I'm talking personally. I'm talking about generations.
No, but I'm talking about generation. Dune is going to be on new Lord of the Rings.
No, Dune is going to be
As
Dune. Lord of the Rings is Lord of the Rings. Star Wars is Star Wars.
But you're taking too literally, and what I'm telling you is the influence that the movie have. You do take it literally.
Yeah,
but
I am.
I'm talking about the influence that the movie had on special effects and movie industry.
Yeah, look. What I'm saying to you is like all movies have an effect, not equally.
Not equally.
Not equally. Star Wars. What you got to bear in mind with Star Wars. The reason why Star Wars became as big as it was twofold, right? Or what? No, actually, not Star Wars. Why Lucasfilm?
Lucasfilm, yeah.
Right. Basically, because George Lucas, fucking fair dues to that man. He produced the cinema deal of the fucking century.
That's a marketing thing.
No. Hear me out.
Yeah.
Hear me out. Because I want to explain it for those who probably don't know. I mean, I'd say most people do.
I think
but
we talked about it before, but
yes, we have. But I'm going to do it anyway because I like this story because it's a really good fuck you to the studios. 20th Century Fox.
We hate studios and John Stackers.
I don't hate studios at all. I think what I don't like is like when you get again. I've got no issue with people spending money because Inception was not a cheap film. $160 million.
Yeah.
Right. I've got no objection to studios putting out and distributing amazing films because when they do it, they fucking do it brilliantly.
Yeah.
But thing is, studios often get in their own fucking way of their own fucking product.
They sabotage themselves.
Yeah, exactly. They shoot themselves in the foot. I mean, like for instance, with fucking everyone knows the story of Justice League. Justice League, basically, they shut the unfortunately, Zack Snyder. I mean, love him or hate him, right? Unfortunately,
the man has a lot of.
He went through a lot. Yeah, he went through a lot. His child passed away. Right, that is during the course of the filming of that film. What did Warner Brothers do? They basically stabbed him in the back. Yeah, while he was going through probably one of the worst experiences a parent can go through. Right, got in Joss Whedon, who fucking made a hames of it. Then you had all the fucking other shit. And I think Joss Whedon may have been blamed for it a bit, but then again, Joss Whedon, as we found out later on, has got had some skeletons rattling around in his fucking closet. But anyway, so what did they do? They went in, they interfered with the film, right? They changed up the fucking colour direction to make it look absolutely disgusting. They introduced some quips and some Marvel-like stuff into it, and they made an absolute fucking butchery of it. And what happened in the end? It lost a fucking rake of money for them. Good enough to them, I say. So this is what happens when studios interfere with, rather than just saying, right, okay, look, here's your budget, right? Show us, right, pitch us what you, right. If we're gonna give you this money, because this is how the studio system used to work. But like, if we're gonna give you a whole heap of money to go and make a movie. Right, it better be fucking good. Pitch me the idea, right? So then the creative people will then pitch them the idea. They'll show them the script. They'll show them a treatment. blah blah blah. They'll go through the process, and then they'll go on to make the movie.
But the case with Justice League, there's something like in movies. There is like we don't talk enough about that, but sometimes there is like things that happen outside the movies. Like
True. Sometimes things happen outside of outside of the
and
scope.
maybe these things should have been taken with more respect. Like the thing of the thing of Justice League with the director. What's the name of the director again?
Zack Snyder.
Zack Snyder. The studio should have been more respectful with Zack Snyder decision to put.
Do you know why they didn't though?
Why they didn't put a note?
Here's why they went through what they did with that movie, right? And then why they spent like an extra fucking $150 million in terms of its production. That movie was north of $300 million when it was finished. Yeah, The reason for it was they needed it released, right? Because there was talk of a takeover, and they needed it released by a certain date so all the fucking executives could get their bonuses. That was why. It was just about money.
Like a father, son died, and they don't care. We need to get the money now.
We just want our bonuses. That's all that came down to. And what ended up happening, the movie tanked. It lost a fucking rake of money for Warner Brothers, and good enough for them. I've got no sympathy. Fuck them.
No.
But the thing is, but also when it comes to 20th Century Fox, getting back to that, and yes, I know I've told the story before, and I will tell it again. Go back
to George Lucas, yeah.
But George Lucas did the fucking negotiation of the fucking, not just the 20th century, but the 21st, the 22nd, and the 23rd.
Bon appetit.
Bon appetit. But he basically 20th Century Fox didn't really have the faith in
Star Wars.
In Star Wars,
because they already have Star Trek. They don't need another like sci-fi thing.
Exactly.
It's old. You know that's
it's not going to make any money.
No, it's not going to make any money. What was the movie at the time? What was the best movie at the time before Star Wars in the 70s? It was like just spy movies or
yeah, exactly. I mean, the the problem with executives, they go on what's going on before, right?
Yeah, but like, that's worked. That worked before. That's never going to work. This is new. This is never going to work.
Yeah, exactly. And the thing is, right? So what did George Lucas do? He negotiated basically. All right, then you distribute the movie. I'll finance it myself, but I need to recoup the costs. So if you give me the merchandising rights, which they did.
Yeah, they did.
And what happened?
Yeah.
Lucasfilm became Lucasfilm.
Yeah.
Right? And then Disney bought them
shit ton of merchandise.
Oh, they made
shit ton of merchandise.
They made an absolute fucking fortune.
Which is dumb for them because they saw there's so much merchandise with Star Trek. You know, like merchandise in Star Trek worked before. There is proof that merchandise was working very well.
Yeah, but the thing is, like Star Wars, Star Wars was such a hit with families, with kids. Everyone wanted to be, all youngsters wanted to be either Han Solo or Luke Skywalker. Like you had Darth Vader, what a fucking villain. You know, you had all these like, and
it's a classic trope of a classic knight, like armor thing. There's a dark knight who tried to capture the princess in this massive castle, and then the young hero is like being called to action with a mentor that teach him the ways.
With his scoundrel friend Han Solo.
Yeah,
I mean that's the thing. It's like it does everything well. Look, I'm not the biggest Star Wars fan. I freely admit that, but at the same time, you can't argue the fact that Star Wars is one of the most influential films of all fucking time. And George Lucas, my cat, I would doff my cat, but everyone see my ball pouch, and I don't like that. But the thing is, like, when you know, the fact you got to have respect for the likes of George Lucas for what he managed to achieve there. And in fairness, he built that fucking franchise up, turned it into $1 billion franchise, and then Disney bought him out for $4 billion and made a fucking hames of it.
You could have asked for more.
Mate, he should have asked for more, in my view.
He could still ask for more. That's the problem with George Lucas. He could have still asked for more.
He could have done, in hindsight.
It's like 4 million. No, 4 billion?
4 billion, yeah.
It's like, no. He could have asked. He could have said no, and
he could have done in hindsight. He could have done.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean? But that's the thing. I mean, like,
and he was like, "I'm old. I don't care about that shit. Oh, yeah, go on."
Yeah, I suppose. Like, we probably already made about fucking like 2 or 3 billion. He was already a billionaire already.
Yeah, he was already a billionaire.
Do you know what I mean? So what's another $4 billion?
All right, go on. I think he regrets that a little bit.
I know he does regret it. Apparently, by all accounts, he does regret the sale of it because, like, let's be honest, Disney have made an absolute fucking hames of Star Wars.
I know, yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like I remember watching again. I've said this before. I remember watching the Force Awakens.
But like, I think he would have loved maybe to give it to George Romero or do like.
Well, let's be honest. Like, the first. They gave it to the fucking J.J. Abrams.
No, I mean, I'm talking about the Clone Wars and the Clone Wars series, and also the what's it called? Again, the Mandalorian and stuff like that.
Right, yeah.
It was George Romero. What's the name of the one?
No, it was, what's your man's name who directed Iron Man?
No, it's not. It's not only him. It's the guy with the cowboy hat. What's his name again?
Dave Filoni.
Dave Filoni worked a long time with George Lucas before, and created the Clone Wars series and stuff like that. Were like very successful and very respectful of the original material. And then basically, I think what George Lucas would have wanted, it's give the franchise to him, to give the torch to him, and just let him go.
Yeah, but wasn't he responsible for the Boba Fett series? That was shit.
No, he was responsible for the Mandalorian series.
Apparently, that's rubbish too now as well.
Yeah, it's become rubbish because Disney is in it. I think it's rubbish because Disney is there. Because if you watched the Clone Wars thing, it's for kids, but like it goes with like themes that's actually like extremely dark and stuff like that. You know, like it's actually well written for like a kid TV show.
Okay, fair enough. I'll go with that. You go
with that because you're never going to watch it.
No, I don't care.
No, you don't care. But like for a kid TV show, is actually pretty well written.
No, fair enough. I'll take that. But
you respect the original material.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But yeah, I mean, anyway, let's get back to Inception. Okay, like I said, I'll evangelize Christopher Nolan till the day I die.
Okay.
I mean, I don't honestly care if people come along and
maybe we say shit about Tenet.
No, look, I'm not going to say shit about Tenet. I do think that film has problems, but the thing is, like, when it comes to any art form and you're any artist, right? Don't care who you are. I'm an artist.
You cannot poop gold all the time.
Yeah, the point of that's an elegant way of what I was going to say. What I was going to say was this, right? In terms poop gold.
No, like sometimes you just have to, no, it's a terrible analogy. It's extremely
no,
bad
what
analogy.
I'm saying is this, right? Look, even as an artist myself, right, and you're an artist too. You're a photographer. I'm a photographer. I'm also like an artist. You know, who draws pictures and shit. In terms of like, right, as a creative myself, right, I know I'm not always happy with everything I do, right, and I know not everyone's going to like everything I do. Not, you know, some people won't like what I do at all. Do you know what I mean? At the end of the day, art is subjective. Everyone has tastes. You're going to like what you like and dislike what you're going to dislike, and that's absolutely fine. So, and it doesn't matter who you are as a creative. Not everything's going to be. Right, the one thing I'll say about Christopher Nolan is I might not love every movie he does.
No.
Right? But I will say this. Every time that man puts pen to paper writing a script or starts pre-production, that man is swinging for the fucking fences each and every time. And I will always give respect where that's concerned.
Some people are director and some people are artists. I think Christopher Nolan is an artist.
Absolutely. And the thing is, like, again, I don't like gatekeeping. This is one thing I always, you know, it's something I've kind of had to learn over time because I used to be, like, when I was younger.
Not evangelize or, you know, like, what is gatekeeping?
If you didn't interrupt, I would then explain.
Sorry about
that. So, when it comes to gatekeeping are those who turns around and decides what is art and what isn't in a very arbitrary fashion.
Okay.
Right. So some people turn, like, one thing that really fucking grinds my gears is how some people are referred to as illustrators while others are artists. Like, the fact of the matter is, an illustrator is still a fucking artist.
Yeah.
Right. Artists is artists. Art is art.
Every director artist.
Every director, every script writer. You can argue the merits of every director, every actor, every photographer, every cinematographer, every artist, every musician, whatever, right? You can argue their merits. You can turn around and explain why you like them and why you dislike them. You may not be able to put your finger on exactly why. That's also fine too. You may not be able to articulate it. That is true for some people, right? Art is art. But the thing is, like, you get people there are people out there, self-important dickheads, who'll turn around and who'll designate themselves as the arbiter of taste. You know, they will decide what is art and what isn't.
There always will be. There always was.
Yeah, there always was. There always will be. That's true, right? But the fact, and this is what creates this stupid, like, exclusivity around art in general, which I think is fucking ridiculous. Like, to turn around and say what's highbrow art, what's lowbrow. Go fuck yourself. Art is art, man. And do you know what I mean? it's like to turn around and say cinema is not. I mean, once upon a time, like there would have been people turning around and saying cinema isn't art. Or there are people out there. I had a fucking raging argument as a school kid with my art teacher, Mr. McKee, about whether or not comic books are art or not. Now, comic books are art. They may not be art that you like. And don't get me wrong, he was a great art teacher. I love Mr. McKee. He was fucking brilliant. But it was a point of contention that me and him had. And if I was to sit in front of him now at the age of 42, never mind the age of 14, I'd still have that same argument. Like, I don't like gatekeeping. Art is art. And, you know, like I said, once upon a time, people would turn around and call cinema lowbrow art, where now it's seen as the height of modern culture.
But the thing is, when something starts, for example, like, do you know, like when
video games is another one.
Yeah, at the beginning, video game was not considered like art. It was like 2D game with pixels and stuff like that. Pong, it could be not considered like art. Like Pac-Man could not be considered like art. But it evolved into like Metal Gear Solid. It evolved into like the Zelda game, and like they became more and more complex. Same for comic books. Comic books were very simple at the time. Like there was just like a 2D case thing like to tell a story. You know, like comic books.
Yeah, but the thing is,
but
that
like
it's still art, like.
but the technique advanced. You know, like
The techniques will advance, but the thing is, like, just like when something.
I was going to use another example. Like, do you know those? I watch a lot of, because I'm very into D&D and stuff like that. And as I remember, like, like painting miniature, for me, it was like it's not art. It's just like basically you paint your toy and your toy looks nice and stuff like that. But nowadays, I saw people who will have years and years and years of practice, and they basically paint a mini and like a miniature like figurine, and basically they have the glow of the armor, or they do like a different like shade of light coming through and stuff like that.
Oh, mate, my back home, Paulie Bates, he does that.
Yeah, it does that, and you went from that's not hard. That's just like you painting like a little plastic toy to basically making the light reflection on a piece of metal, or making the a perfect. It's just like, do you know what? Every new medium is being said like, oh, that's not art. Comic books, give me the first Piff and Puff comic books or stuff like that, stuff like that, and people are like, that's not art. It's just like a red dog or stuff like that. But then when you go today, it was perfected. It was like, so something is not art until it is, until the technique advance, until the craft is there.
I'm going to disagree with you on that. Reason being, right?
Same for manga, for example. Manga was like the first manga ever made were very rudimentary. Like it was just like black and white.
Still
like
artistry
drawings.
involved
Still
in it,
artistry, yeah. But like,
right, because look again, I'm going to make it. I'm going to give an example. Right, the Lascaux Caves. Right, the oldest.
It was not considered art for a long time. It was like discovery, or like a scientific discovery. Like, yeah. But
no, right. The Lascaux Caves in France were always considered art. They're the oldest representations, or one of the oldest artistic representations that we have, right? And if you look at the Lascaux Caves, some of it is fucking unbelievable. It's like unbelievable. Like they're painting like herds of animals and prides of lions and everything else, and they're quite representative.
Or pigments, making pigments.
And a lot of that would have been directly from, like, it's not as if like they had fucking lions sitting in front of them so they could like sit there and draw them. A lot of that was done from memory. So like, and the thing is, like, to say that just because something I think any creative medium, I think it's easy to dismiss. But to say that it's not art, or there's some like arbitrary level somewhere along the line where the technique advances, so then it's artful. I disagree with that. I think comic books started, comic books started off as short little comic strips in newspapers that came from, like, because you still got, like, they call them cartoon. The term cartoon comes from paint. Right, well, basically, like, there's a cartoon created by Leonardo da Vinci at the British Art Museum. That was basically a rough draft for a painting that they used to kind of show prospective clients. Yeah. This is what the painting's roughly going to look like. Yeah. So Rembrandt would have done that.
It was a preview.
Yeah, exactly. It was a preview. So that to give the client an idea of what they're going to get. See, the thing is, like, I mean, I disagree when it comes. I don't care what the medium is, whether it's video games, whether it's art, whether it's music, you name it, right? Right, art is art, right? As far as I'm concerned, right? There isn't. I don't. Yeah, okay. Some of it may be a bit more lowbrow, and maybe some of it may not be to your taste. That's fine. art is subjective. I'm all right with that. I'm not saying that people shouldn't criticize art. I'm not saying people shouldn't have preferences or tastes. Art is art is art, as far as I'm concerned. If you want to argue that point with me, fine, you're going to lose. Mainly because you're not going to convince me otherwise.
Okay.
All right. But the thing is, but there are artists that, you can subjectively say are better than others, or like
because of technique and of
execution and whatever else.
Expertise as well.
So with Christopher Nolan is one of those exemplars. He's one of those artists within the medium who elevates the medium as a whole.
For example, like somebody who elevates the medium of cinema as well. So basically, the Lumiere brothers didn't elevate cinema. They just it was a scene. They revolutionized the technology.
Yeah,
but they didn't invent cinema. For me, the one who invented cinema was Georges Méliès. Because you know why? Because he put the craft into cinema. He put the special effect. He put the decor. He put the acting. He put everything in there. He brought the theater into the camera. And
Journey to the Moon, isn't
it? And he brought magic into the camera.
Yeah.
It's for that when I tell you that, for example, that's what I explained to you. Like when somebody creates something, but it's not art yet, because you need somebody that craft to elevate the medium. For example, do you know what? Imitation Game is a great biopic.
Yeah.
But you know what? Somebody would elevate a biopic, Christopher Nolan, because he's making more than a biopic.
Yeah, okay.
That's what I mean by like somebody was create something that's simple and something that maybe people will like looked upon, like, or do like think it's not pretty art, so like there's nothing to do with it. And some other people say like, wait a minute, I can make this better. I can make this more resonate with people. For example, Méliès, when he saw the two brothers, the Lumiere brothers movie, he said like, I can make this better.
Okay.
There you go.
On that point there, right? Okay, I'll take your point there.
Right. That's where it's like when you say like this is not art and this is art. Same with comic books. Like there's just people having fun and making drawings and making a story, and people was like, oh, that's not art. It's just like you're drawing on the back of a newspaper magazine. But then all that, like this. Further in time, there's people who bringing the craft of, for example, painting, or for example, like drawings, or like all those artists brought their craft into the medium, and it become art.
Yeah, this is the thing, though. You're saying become art. It was always art. But the thing is, like, again, I think where me and you are probably like kind of like, we're kind of like if you like misunderstanding each other a little bit. Right. When I say art is art, I mean it wholeheartedly. But the thing is, you are right. I'm not saying there aren't individuals who come along and elevate the art form. Yeah. Right. Like what you said there about Georges Lumiere.
Méliès.
Georges Méliès. I'm not saying that's incorrect at all. You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
Like
he elevated
the art form. It was still art before then. There's still people being creative and fucking around and experimenting with this new art, this new medium, this new art form. What can we possibly do with it? Then Georges Méliès comes along, and he does something magical with it.
Hold my cape, like
exactly. Hold my beer.
Hold my like magician hat, and he just took the cinema industry by surprise.
I'm not saying that there aren't people who don't take that art form and do something magical with it. Of course there are. Like there are some people who will take that art form and be workmanlike with it. Imitation Game. There will be some people who'll take that art form, tell that same story in a much more artful and or elevate it. Oppenheimer. And the thing is, like I said, like I can't like fucking gush about Christopher Nolan enough, because like Christopher Nolan is, he is an auteur, he is an artiste, he's whatever, he is like he's a phenom, he's a once in a lifetime director, I think.
Yeah.
Right. And there are people out there and there will be people after him, like long after I'm fucking dead and buried, like, or cremated preferably, that will come along and elevate the art form again, and that will continue to hopefully for as long as we don't fucking nuke ourselves. That'll keep going for as long as long as we as a species are around on this earth, and art will always move forward. Art will always, and when it comes to new technology as well, new art forms, that when they do come across, it's like with AI. This is the whole kind of like fear surrounding AI. I think is justified, but also the people who are going to embrace and do something with this new technology are artists. Do you know what I mean? Human artists, not fucking like bits of code, not like some like what do they call them again?
Like you give him like a chisel and a stone, and the guy is like, oh, you can make do like pillar out of it, or do like you can like make building, bricks. You can make building out of it. Yeah. You know what? I'm going to make a statue out of it.
Yeah.
There you go.
And you got, and the thing is, like, also you're saying that though, right? Because if you look at, I haven't looked deeply into this. It's something,
for example, pottery in antique Greece. So like, it's just it's just somewhere to put your beverage in. Do you know what? I'm going to make something beautiful out of it.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing. Is like that's what artists do. I mean, when it comes down to it, art, like the difference between an artisan and an artist. An artisan creates something that works. An artist creates something that's beautiful, right? Or something that makes you think, something that makes you feel.
For example, a cook will make a beautiful meal. A chef will make you an experience with
yes.
Yes. You know that's what I say. Like like the it's like. Would you say that a cook is like? Would you say that your school cook is an artist?
Okay, let me just put it this way.
And yeah.
No. I'm going to answer that question. I do want to answer that question, right? I think anybody can cook, right? Anybody look. If you make beans on toast, right, you're a cook.
Yeah, you're a cook.
All right, in the most basic sense, because you're heating up a couple of slices of bread, you getting some beans, and you fire it into the microwave, and you might decide, oh, I don't know, I might put a bit of cheese and some curry powder in it and mix that with this. What I do.
You can go further into the process. You make your own bread and you make your own beans and tomato sauce.
Yes,
yeah. You're still a cook.
You still. Like, the thing is, like, look, that's the thing. Is like,
when do you become an artist?
Well, I think that's the thing. It's a slide. It is like a sliding scale.
Yeah.
And that scale could be from here to infinity.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
It's like in the movie, in the movie The Menu, like
it started, such a good movie.
It started as a kid that made burgers, and he became like the best chef of all time.
Exactly.
Like, yeah.
That's the thing. It's like, because the thing is, right, when it comes down to it, I remember being asked this on Twitch once, right? So someone said,
and you as well. You were copying comic books page.
Yeah. The thing is, right, because I do a lot more drawing on this bad boy here, my iPad Pro, right? And I remember, and when I'm on Twitch streaming, when I'm doing my drawing on Twitch, I'm drawing on my iPad. And so I remember I think someone said to me, "Is like, oh yeah, I want to learn how to draw. I want to get an iPad." I'm like, no. If you want to learn how to draw, get a fucking bit of pen. Get a pen or a pencil and a bit of paper.
Do you know what?
That's where you start.
And you should have started in school when you're bored and you have your pages of your
exactly.
And you know what? Every artist started out that they make like the S. You know, like the,
jeez, yeah.
What's it called? The S?
I don't know what it's called. I know the S you're talking about.
Yeah, the S.
Yeah.
Like if you want to start doing drawings, start with this.
No,
would you be a bummer like the best drawing artist class in the world, and the guy started? Do you know what? What are you going to do? You're going to open your book and you're going to draw an S on the corner of the page.
Yeah, but the thing is, though, right, what it comes down to, if you were to break it all the way fucking down, right, when it comes to drawing, it's basically making marks. That's all it is.
Yeah, making marks on the cave.
Making marks on the cave, a bit of paper or a fucking glass screen. Doesn't matter. All you're doing is you're making marks. And the thing is, like, it's how you put those marks together to create an image. That's all it is. You know, it's not... But in order for you, it takes time to get to elevate it, to get to a high level with it. Do you know what I mean? And I like to think I've gotten to a pretty high level with my drawing. I'm pretty fucking good at what I do. I don't mind admitting. But the thing is, like, it's taken me years to get to that point. I fucking earned it, and I'm still earning it now. Because if for any reason I stop doing it for a period of time, I stagnate. All right, so you've got to keep going and going and going. If you want to improve, you need to keep doing. And art is just, you know, whether whatever your art form is, like you need to keep going to keep improving. And art is, art, whatever the art form is. I mean, I love cinema. I love art. I love music. I love video games. I love fucking all sorts. And
I think if you're an artist, you pretty much love everything that art related.
yeah, I mean, art is art, and I love it.
My dad is not an artist, for example.
I don't know, mate. His croissants are fucking amazing.
It's an artisan. Like he's an artisan. He's good at what he's doing. He makes a good product, but it doesn't. His goal is not to make something beautiful. It makes something good.
Yeah.
His goal is not to make you reflect. It's to give you something. It's to give you something. Yeah. Like every art is about giving something. Everything is about giving something. But like my father is not an artist. He was never into music. He was into cinema. He likes escape. He likes sci-fi movies. He like sci-fi comic books, stuff like that. Or maybe he's a bit of an artist, because but like
I don't know. I mean, to be quite honest with you, mate.
My dad is do you know what? Like it's the same. Like if you look deep, like everybody's an artist because my dad likes songs. He have some songs that he love. He liked like a poetry kind of a thing.
Yeah.
Like a lot of talking word and stuff like a lot of French artists. So basically, they're not like vocally brilliant, but they're like very like wordly well spoken, like, or do you like
it'd be like Bob Dylan isn't a great singer, but his words, like his songs, are brilliant.
Or what's it called? Cohen? What's it called?
Which Cohens are we talking about?
There's a lot of Cohens.
There is a lot of Cohens.
Leonard Cohen, the singer.
I think I know who you're talking about.
Yeah. It's like his poetry, like his songs are poetry.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah, but no, that's the thing. I mean, you could turn around. A lot of people turn around and say, like, the current in terms of the current zeitgeist, you got in terms of poetry at least. Anyway, it's hip hop. Do you know what I mean? And
Kanye West or
Kanye West is one. He's a bit controversial these days for good fucking reason. But to turn around and say his music's not amazing is fucking ridiculous. It is. But if you look at hip hop, once upon a time, people people look down upon that.
Eminem is
Eminem, 50 Cent, Dr. Dre, Tupac, Biggie Smalls,
and before them he was
Kendrick Lamar.
And before them he was John Lennon. He was
John Lennon, Bob Dylan, fucking Jimi Hendrix, The Doors. Like that. There's when it comes down to it, like, not only that, it's very easy to appreciate something in retrospect.
Yeah.
Rather than appreciating it at the time.
It's funny, some people say it's not hard, it's not good, or stuff like that, because they don't have the time to listen to it, basically.
Well, no, it's not even the time. Yeah, the time to listen to it, or no, it's not even the time. It's the time to appreciate it.
That's what I was going to.
Do you know what I mean? It's like it's only in retrospect that you look back on something and you appreciate it. And I think this is the thing is, because I mean, getting back to your dad, right?
Uh-huh.
I mean, I've had some of his pastries. I think they're fucking wonderful. And do you know what? Right, as I said earlier on, art is something that makes you feel, right?
Uh-huh.
When I eat, right, a pastry from Centra,
but like
it's basically like you grab something to have with your coffee, stuff in your face, and run out the door with it.
I'm actually that's exactly what it is.
Yeah, but I've always felt this. Like every time
food as a fuel, not food as an experience.
Yeah, but every time I go in and have like even a pastry at your mum and dad's place, right? Maison Gourmet, Kenmare, it's fucking amazing. Go there. It's also very busy, so you don't have to queue for a while. But things like whenever I've had pastry in that place, but I remember the first time I went in there and I had a fucking croissant, I was like, Jesus Christ, this is fucking awesome.
And we were talking about this with my mother, and one client said like she lived in Cork, she lived in Dublin, and there's no bakery like you in Ireland.
There isn't.
Even like a number is like, what's it in Dublin? One of the best bakery in Dublin. It's number something. It's 41 something 40 bakery 41 I think is in Dublin.
Right.
And you know what they they do a bakery. They do very good bread, but they don't do French bread like we do. Even like a Petit Délice in Killarney or Galway, they don't do bread or patisserie or croissant as we do, because we put the extra step. Some baker, like there's a French baker in Cork, they give up. They just do what Irish people like, like a big white loaf and a few slices, and that's it. And you never see any baguette or any.
Really?
You see croissant, but like they are not the croissant like as we do, like.
Okay.
people like, and you see Cuisine de France is like all industrials. There's no
artistry
there's
there,
no
man.
artistry there. There's no artistry there. Or even like the baguette you buy in Centra and stuff like that. There's no artistry there. It's like a mass produce. And like, we are the only one, probably the only one, who do stuff like basically that's the stuff that you will have in France.
Yeah.
And sometimes the stuff that we won't have in France because people don't want to do work like we do in France, like, and not being rewarded for it.
Yeah, I mean, in fairness though, I mean, like, this is probably why your mum and dad's place is also busy, because they do. I mean, the coffee is the coffee. It's fine. There's nothing wrong
People
with coffee.
People come from Cork to get baguette thing. Dublin as well. Like, yeah.
Yeah, but this is the thing. Is like, I mean, so I reckon no, your dad is an artist.
Yeah. Okay.
He's a brilliant baker. You know?
Like, it's not my dad; it's a team like we have.
Yeah, but it's led by your father.
Yeah. No, it's led by my mother. My mother.
Oh yeah, no.
Yeah,
but you know what I mean.
Yeah. So,
you know what I mean.
It's a matriarch.
Yeah, no. You're definitely your mom runs. Your mom definitely rules the roost in your place. Definitely.
My dad doesn't mind. I think they have the perfect symbiosis, because my dad is not like, he doesn't want to possess anything. He just want to chill. He just want to relax. So like, if he's home, he just want to relax.
Do you know something? Unfortunately with your dad, because he doesn't speak any English and I don't speak any French.
He does speak a little bit.
He doesn't speak a lot though.
Huh?
He doesn't speak a lot.
Oh, he does. If you're French, he speak a lot. He will talk a lot about you. He will talk about politics.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. Unfortunately, because the language barrier.
He always like talk to you directly in French. Have you seen every time?
I've always got to turn around and say, Roman, translate, see if you play.
Yeah, basically, he's somebody that talks a lot. He is somebody that talks a lot.
Yeah, I can imagine. I reckon he'd be a good crack. He'd be a great person to have a conversation with. Unfortunately, we don't speak the same language.
Sometimes he's a bit like, like he doesn't care. Basically, he doesn't care to tell you something that you don't agree with.
Oh, my dad's like that.
He will tell you, like,
very unfiltered.
He will, like, for example, you have an opinion about something. He will tell you that your opinion is stupid and you should look back a little bit. And sometimes it could be very controversial what he said.
Yeah,
but he's right. And some people doesn't like.
Do you know something?
So like, there's some French people my dad talked to, and he cannot talk to them because basically it is not the same political thing. And what my dad would say would be considered radical or stuff like that.
Yeah.
But like, in a way, and if you look back and you think about it, yeah, it is right, but you shouldn't say that.
Well, things like if we're speaking about our respective fathers, I mean, like with my dad, like my dad, to say he's unfiltered is a fucking understatement.
My dad started to be unfiltered since in Ireland.
Oh, no.
He's just like...
No. Things like my dad's always been incredibly unfiltered. He's not shy. Not only that, he's not shy to... I mean, because I used to remember when I used to go and when I used to work in construction. I used to work in construction under my dad quite a lot. And some of the things he used to say to people, like to me and my brother sometimes, but like I remember him turning around to someone, all right, no word of a lie, these are the words verbatim more or less. Like there was some chippy on the job, carpenter, or whatever, it might be a still fixer or something like that. Anyway, they've displeased my father for one reason or another, because displeasing my father is one of the easiest things in the world to do. And
doesn't take much.
It doesn't take much. But he turned around anyway, they start getting into a bit of an argument or whatever, and he turns around to him and says, the best part of you ran down your mother's leg.
Oh.
Ouch.
Ouch.
And these are some of the things that like my dad used, and he doesn't give a flying fuck. Do you know what I mean? I've got to respect that about him. But also at the same time, I think with my dad sometimes I find is that he is one of those people, like, you may not necessarily like the tone of what he says, but every now and again, it's just like, actually, it's taken me a long time to kind of get to this stage. But it's like, I listen to my dad sometimes, and it's like, he'll be roaring about something. But
do you think that your dad is good at heart? Like, even though what he says...
No, I'll tell you one thing. I'll tell you what my dad, as a builder, right, and I'm not exaggerating, I'm not saying it because of my father, right, I'm saying it genuinely. That man's mind for construction, for not just building, but for construction, for engine, he over-engineers everything. I mean, he is a fucking smart dude. Yeah. My dad, incredibly intelligent. He's just not very kind of like
social.
No, he's very social.
Social skill. No, I mean social skill. You can be social and don't have a lot of social skill.
No, well, I think what it is with my dad is it's not something. He's very blunt. He's very abrupt.
That's a lack of social skill.
Yeah, to a degree. But if you listen to my dad start talking about construction,
yeah,
like and not just talking about it. He like that man was responsible for putting up fucking massive buildings. He was a foreman for like Burns Brothers, Harrington's, like all these big construction companies in the UK.
But about construction is like
his mind for it is
mind
unreal.
free like thing. But like he's not a chameleon. He will not like you cannot like in other subject instead of other construction is pretty blunt and pretty.
Oh yeah, he'll tell you exactly what he thinks.
There you go.
And not only that, he'll tell you exactly what he thinks of you. Do you know what I mean? If he doesn't like you, he'll fucking absolutely railroad you.
My dad is a bit more like actually my dad I take a look as well. It's extremely good. Like he always good heart. Sometimes he could say something that you don't agree with, but it's always like it could look mean, but it's never like he's always nice to you. He doesn't like it's not like. He's never going to say.
He doesn't say it to hurt you.
He never say anything to hurt you. Like for example, my dad is a bit like he loved me in his own way. For example, like when I was crying, and the only way he could comfort me is like, "It's okay, we're gonna keep you." I can like he's smiling, like it's as a joke, like it's too late now. We're gonna keep you there now.
That's class, man.
Like it's just like it's just like I wish I could be like that with my kids. Like.
Oh, when you eventually become father yourself.
Yeah, it's like, oh, do you know what? Oh well, we're stuck with you now. It's he has a comedy about things, like yeah. Anyway, we talk about Dad's third, like Christopher Nolan. That's the conversation that diverged there.
Yeah, exactly.
But like Inception, yeah. We watched Inception. You should rewatch it. I'm so glad I rewatched it.
Yeah, somewhere.
Yeah, it's a great movie.
It is 100% one of the best movies of the last 20 years.
Yeah, 2010. Yeah, it's like the can we say something like the 80s, the 90s, and the 70s with the 2000 like the 2000s. So like the tens.
2010s. I don't know.
Are we going to say like there's so much? I like the 10s music. I like the 20s music. Are we going back in the future like that? You think?
I don't know. I think to be honest with you, it's like. As a species, what we like to do is we like to put things in boxes because it makes it easy for us to manage.
Yeah.
It's why we have stereotypes. Do you know what I mean?
But like, I don't think there's boxes. I don't think there's boxes for like the 2000 era.
No, I think there is. I mean, like, do you know what the big problem is, right? If you look at any decade, like it's very easy to kind of block things in decades, right? Yeah. But if you look at things at the start of the decade and how culture has evolved during the course of that decade, by the end of one decade leading into the next.
I did saw that, for example, like you see the end of the beginning of the 70s and the end of the 70s were like completely different.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? It's like
did this stuff like that change in our
look at it this way. Look at it this way, right? In terms of a timeline, right? Okay, I'm 15 years older than you. I'm 42. You're 29.
Oh yeah, 29. Yeah,
29. So it's 14 years, 14 and a half years, call it, right? In the course of that, in the course of that timeline, how much has culture changed?
Not much,
but a lot.
We're still in the 90s, pretty much.
No, we're not even remotely.
Culture
will go around in circles. It will loop back on itself. Technology will move forward. Communication technology changes. Art changes. In terms, we like to put things into eras or decades. The Renaissance era, the Industrial era, blah blah blah.
If I take somebody from the early 2000 and bring in here, it won't look out of place. That's what I say.
Yeah, but the thing is, but in terms of like people, in terms like what was I going to say? Like we like to have these like eras. We like to compartmentalize, right? But the thing is, like nothing ever truly fits into a compartment.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean? It's like in terms of like music. In terms of music, I mean, you can't turn around and say, okay, what would be. You could turn around and say like, okay, the Beatles were like the height of the 60s or whatever, but then that's discounting so much of else what went on during the 60s. I think I don't know. I think like what I'm saying is we like to put things into boxes, but and to compartmentalize and pigeonhole and stereotype. It's like why we like, for instance, like you might turn around and say like black people are like this, white people are like that, fucking, Irish people are stupid, English people are fucking ponces.
Can I say something that me? I'm not talking about the boxing and stuff like that. It's just from the 1940s to the 1960s. to the 1960s to the 1990s, a lot of things change.
A lot of things have changed in the last 23 years, mate. Wars have happened.
I know, but like, I'm talking culturally.
No, yeah, culturally things have changed massively. Like, you know, because at the end of the day, culture at the time reflects what's going on in the world at the time.
Yeah.
Right. Like, if you think about what's gone on since 2000, right? We had the economic collapse of 2008.
The mobile phone,
the
iPhone.
invention of the smartphone, as we know it now. These fucking things, smartphones. We're actually
bricks.
filming on a fucking smartphone here.
Yeah.
You know, and you know, in terms of how computer technology has been miniaturized, you know, these all affect culture. Culture is always is an evolving organism. It doesn't sit still, and it never will. You know, you can take. And I don't know. It's like, for instance, when people try and sort out genres of art, for instance, is a good example.
Because
like, what's pre-Raphaelite? What's Renaissance? Like, what's postmodern? You know, there's all these kind of... We like to pigeonhole, like, art and artists and people and whatever else. I mean, to make things easier to digest. But the thing is, when you really start... If you were to really start pick any point in time you like, any point in time, right? It doesn't matter, right? And you really kind of dig deep, and you really kind of try and understand exactly what was going on at that time. Provided you have the information, like especially in the last 23 since the advent of the internet, you got all the information you fucking need. So, like, if you want to listen to the music, experience the art, check out the art or check out the music, or watch the movies
and everything else,
or
catalog of everything that
read the
come
books
out
and everything else.
Yeah.
Exactly. You can really dig deep on it, and that will give you an idea of what was going on at that particular moment.
Like, also, like, what country, like, as well.
Exactly. That also is a thing. It's like, and language is also a big factor, especially when it comes to literature and like, and in terms of like philosophical thinking, everything else. Like, there's so much that can, you know. Like I said, culture is always moving forward, and like I said, sometimes like it'll look back and take influences and bring those influences forward. But then it very much is like culture. Yeah, culture is an evolving organism. It's always evolving. It's always changing. It's always, you know. And
we try to, but like what I was going for, it was like, are we going to talk about the our era in the future as the 2000 and
in a lazy way, yeah.
Do you think how do we sound like? Oh, the 20s, 20s, the 20s.
Are we the 20s?
Like, the problem if you go 30s, which 30s are we talking about?
Yeah, they'll say the 1930s.
1930s, 2030. Yeah,
that's what they'll say. I mean, like, I don't know. I mean, like, I think the labels are meaningless. I mean, like I said,
you don't like label. Yeah.
They're useful in a way, but I think, to be honest with you, I mean, but in a greater context, they are meaningless.
Basically, it gives you an image. And one of the point I was making is, like, for example, if I don't care about labels. If I say 1930s, can you imagine somebody from the 1930s?
No.
Oh my god. You cannot imagine.
No. I know what you mean.
You cannot imagine how people would dress in the 1930s. Can you imagine?
Yeah.
But but the thing is, it was like, can you imagine somebody dressed in the 2000? You can actually a little bit.
Baggy pants, big hoodies, and fucking blonde tipped, spiky hair, and 2010, mustaches, crap tattoos, hipsters.
We're still in 2020.
In 2020s. No, but if you look at fashion now...
He only started now.
No, but if you look at fashion now, if you look around at fashion at the moment, I mean, especially all these young hip-hop artists, tattoos on faces,
but they're also
colourful hair.
Also, they're skinnier. When you see, like, the 90s, everybody was, like, bulk and, what's the peak main physique was, like, Arnold or Stallone or stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then nowadays, it's become, like, after he went, like, very slim, very, the guy from Twilight, what do you call it, very tall. And very,
Robert Pattinson.
And now, do you know what? It's a tiny and
Chalamet.
There you go, Timothée Chalamet.
But I mean, you can do it in certain respects, but like I said, I think it's incredibly lazy to kind of do that, because like no one lives for 10 years. We live for like many decades.
I know.
Luckily, we live for, if all being right, we live for many decades.
Yeah, it's not very wood, but like,
Touch wood. But yeah, I mean, like, culture is an evolving thing, and I think that's wonderful about culture. Culture is I'd say it's one of our single most important contributions to us being humans. What makes us different to the fucking animals? Culture, you know, and culture embraces so much, encompasses so much, and it should be. I mean, like I said, you don't have to like everything.
No,
You don't.
You don't.
I don't like
You
everything.
don't have to agree with everything.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, like,
Look, I don't have to agree with you. Yeah, you don't have to agree with me.
Exactly.
And don't like some people should stop forcing people to agree with them.
Well, do you know what? I mean, like, this is the unfortunate thing I see quite a lot, especially on YouTube, right?
Like your side of the internet, basically your side. Of
Yeah, exactly. There's loads of these little silos that are shouting at each other.
Or bubbles.
Yeah, bubbles, silos, whatever way you want to describe it. Basically, like, it kind of it becomes fractionalized. It becomes like, so basically you have these little echo chambers and they're all kind of agreeing with each other, and then they all shout across at each other all the fucking time. Right, and this is why, and to be honest with you, this is why I was a little bit careful with the Elliot Page thing earlier on, because it's very easy to land on a fucking landmine and really annoy someone.
Have you seen like in the MPB they did that very properly because it's
at the time
was
Ellen Page, but currently referred to as Elliot Page, which is true because
it was the same with what's the name of the artist who say he's not time they could change take it. It changed. He went to he converts himself into Islam.
Oh, I know you're talking about cat something, and he changed his name to something Islam. I know you're talking about though. Yeah.
And basically, you now you refer to this artist with that name, but
or Muhammad Ali.
Muhammad Ali as well. Like but like
what's my name, motherfucker? What's my name?
Yeah,
because what I can't remember. Was it not George Foreman? Who was it? Was it Joe Frazier? Anyway, he smacked the fuck out of him because during the build up, he was going around calling him Cassius Clay,
which is his birth name.
And he chose. He converted to Islam and chose to call himself Muhammad Ali.
And it's not a problem. Like it's not a problem of like this controversy. It's not a problem of gender. It's a problem of changing identity. And people like still referring you to the old you.
Yeah, and I think to be honest with you, it's massively disrespectful. Look, my name's John Clare. It's always going to be John Clare. I'm not going to change it. I mean, it's my it's the identity that I've grown up with and grown into.
Some people choose their identity. Some people don't choose their identity. For example, some actor I've given a name, and people basically call them that way.
No, but things like some actors and no. I mean, actors is a good point because like on what's the name of the fucking actors union? But anyway,
some actors have like real life names completely different.
Because they can't. Name. Yeah, it's like what was it?
Some because they changed.
Marilyn Monroe, her name was something Bullock, and they turned around to her and said, "We can't sell you as
John Wayne." Also, John Wayne was not John Wayne.
Exactly. I mean, like this has gone on throughout history.
Yeah.
And some people have the names put upon them. Some people choose it, and I think. Like whatever the name that you want to go by is, and whatever identity that you choose to take on for yourself, that should be respected. I mean, but unfortunately, there is this kind of discourse with people shouting at each other, and I think the big problem is right when you've got all this fucking these Twitter spats, right? These fucking idiots on Twitter shouting at each other, or shitter, or whatever it's fucking called these days. I'm sorry, I like shitter because it is a fucking absolute shit show. But yeah, if you go on Twitter or if you go on YouTube or you go on any social media platform, those people shouting at each other over something or another. Do you know what I mean? Because more often than not, right? And you would not, under any circumstance, have a go at someone with the same kind of vociferous, rabid rage if they were right in front of you. Do you know why?
Yeah.
Because there's a good chance they're going to punch you in the fucking face.
Or they're gonna respond something that you will not have time to respond to.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, like,
or you want think something smart to respond to, like so you have the internet that you kind of.
Yeah, there is that, but also there's the very real prospect of conflict, like real physical conflict,
or to make somebody cry, or to make to hurt somebody. Physically and mentally.
Yeah, but
that's why you don't.
No, sorry. I think you may be slightly misunderstanding me. Yeah. The point I'm making is not necessarily about there is consequences to acting like a cunt.
But in the internet, you don't see it.
Exactly. There's no consequences. If you talk like that to someone to their face, there's a genuine chance someone's going to pick something up and fucking bury it in your face.
Yeah.
Right. And
stop talking to you.
Or stop talking to you, or ostracize you, or whatever. And people feel very free to shout at each other over the internet.
To people they don't know.
To people they don't really know. Or people they don't agree with. For one reason or another. It happens all the fucking time. You see it on YouTube drama. And it's entertaining to watch, but it's not something that I would like to be a part of, because like
you don't choose to be part of this sometimes.
no, definitely not. I mean, like, we're kind of talking about it, but talking about it in a roundabout sense. But it's not something I directly want to participate in. That's why I'm not going to name names or fucking point fingers at anybody, because then you're kind of ingratiating yourself into that kind of conflict. But it's just something. I think I think it's a shame that people don't actually take a moment and to sit back and just dial the fucking rhetoric down a little bit and talk to each other civilly and like human beings. And I think that's if we don't do that, because it's very easy to act the hard man. It's very easy to fucking. But if you're sitting down in front of someone, you're like, and not only that is also it's you don't. It's not like you're arguing the issue. You're arguing the person, and then people start calling each other names. You're a fucking idiot. You're a retard. You're stupid. Blah blah blah. And then they start getting personal with it, and then you've got feuds going on, whatever else. A lot of it is completely fucking unnecessary. Some of it is even manufactured, because do you know why? Everyone loves conflict.
Conflict is what, like, a good story is about conflict.
Yeah, but the thing is, I want to keep that to fiction. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I want to watch films like the conflicts I want to see are the conflicts of the heart. Or the conflicts of
ideas,
or conflicts of ideas. But again, if we're gonna have a discussion about ideas or conflicts about ideas, those conflicts should be civil.
Yeah, it should be like two people talking at a table, not just like I don't know. It's just strange. I think we lost the faculties to talk to somebody else because of the internet.
Yeah, I think the internet has kind of stripped a lot of that away, unfortunately.
Which I find ironic, because when they create the internet, it's going to reconcile. Everybody's going to understand each other. Everybody's going to have the opinion of everybody's going to have everybody's opinion.
The digital town hall.
Basically. Everybody can talk about their problem and learn about everybody's problem, so there will be no war and no conflict ever. Huh.
Yeah. That's worked out well.
Yeah, it's always worked out well.
That's the problem with ideals. Ideals and reality, when the rubber hits the road, one often kind of, expectations are fucking disappointed for one reason or another. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think it would be nice, because I love the fact that me and you can sit down here and we can talk about movies and be enthused about movies
for the last 2 hours.
2 hours and 20 fucking minutes.
I know, seriously. We need to rewatch our video and see how long we can keep. If we I think this video we're gonna rewatch it together. Okay. Yeah. Just right. If we're gonna stay that long.
Look, to be honest with you, I don't care. Look, conversations. That's what makes these interesting.
If you're lurking, you're right. If you're watching, God bless.
God bless. Thank you for staying to the end.
Yes. Thank you for staying to the end. Oh, is it the end? Or we can continue for another hour.
I don't care.
I
don't fucking care.
I was supposed to be somewhere at 8. I'm never going to make it.
I'm
never going to make it.
You're nearly 2 hours late at this stage.
I'm 2 hours late. I cannot send a message because we're filming with my phone, so I cannot send them a text or something like that. They probably think I'm dead.
Maybe.
It's not a good part. It's not a big part anyway, so it's cool.
Oh yeah, because he had a theatre audition.
Yeah, it was a second audition. Second rehearsal, sorry.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And I say to them, because I saw they still have 40 minutes of Inception. I said, I might be going to be 30 minutes late.
And then,
2 hours later.
If you're wondering where he was, now here's your answer.
Yeah, I was just going to send him a video of this. So that's where I was. I'm sorry about that. I apologize. I hate to be late. I fucking hate to be late. It's fine. It's okay.
Mate, the amount of, because we used to live together, right?
Yeah. And okay, I'm somebody who do everything at the last minute.
Yes, you are.
Yeah, I'm somebody who do everything at the last minute.
You're the type of person who tries to arrive exactly on time.
Yeah.
And more often than not, you're late.
But that's why when I have a very important job, because of people who want to pay me as a photographer, I'm going to realize something. When it's very important, because this one was not very important. I'm sorry about that. The theater is not very important. Look, it's okay. It's a small part, stuff like that. They don't really need me to run the rehearsal.
Yeah.
But if you need me as a photographer for your wedding, I'll be there 2 hours early.
Yep.
I'll be there 2 hours early.
Yep.
I'll be there. Do you know? Why are you there 2 hours early?
Well,
I don't want to be late.
Well, the thing is, there's the old adage: if you're there early, you're on time. If you try to make it on time, you'll always be late.
You'll always be late.
Do you know what I mean? I mean, I remember someone telling me that, because I used to.
But it's hard. It's hard for me. It's very hard. It's very hard. It's procrastination and stuff like that. It's coping mechanism. You're like going up and just stay on your phone and just like seeing the time to like 1 more minute. Like that's one of my problem. Sometimes like it's 1 more minute, 1 more minute, 1 more minute. You know, like,
I used to say that as a kid all the time, and I remember like going back to my father. He's like, "How many more fucking minutes do you need?" So yeah, I mean, like 1 minute, I'll be there in a minute. I'll be there in a minute. That used to be like my little catchphrase as a kid. I'll be there in a minute. I still say it now. Do you know what I mean?
My catchphrase was everything is fine.
Yeah, it is one of yours.
Yeah,
that another one is sorry.
The meme of that's my new catchphrase when I arrive here. But like I don't say sorry much now anymore. It's just like I think I got cure.
I don't know. I'll be interested to find out if there's any truth to that.
Yeah, it's just like I don't know. I'm tired to say sorry anymore. I'm tired to apologize.
Okay, you're tired.
No. I say I'm tired to apologizing. I'm not tired, physically tired.
Oh, okay,
we can go for another hour. Like, do you like with like 20 minutes in?
So
like,
fuck it. But yeah, in terms of like do you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna get back to
to the movie Inception.
Yeah,
maybe we should.
I think we should.
The movie video is about that. To be fair.
Yeah, well, yeah, but this is the nature of conversation. It does stray. Do you know what I mean? And to be honest with you, like, you know, I mean, look at you know what might be interesting. Let's have a look at the old reviews on Rotten Tomatoes.
We should just do a podcast. We just do a podcast, like just a podcast.
Yeah.
And you know, like.
Well, do you know something? We did that right because we did this. We did have. I remember us talking about this a little while ago, right?
My podcast. No?
Yeah. With your because like you had the idea of the creativity podcast, which I think was a fucking fantastic idea. And I think we should do that at some point.
I was thinking about this today, and I think we're just going to sit down in the pub and do like having the thing running and having a microphone there, and people if they want they can join in. I thought that would be pretty cool.
Good though.
In winter, like we'll do that in winter when there's less people, like less tourists, stuff like that. Like be more intimate.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah,
I think it might be cool because I was thinking about it might be kind of. I don't know. We've kind of toyed with the idea of doing a Patreon. We haven't really discussed. We discussed it a little while ago.
I'm not a fan of a Patreon because it's the what we like. A Patreon is it's also a guarantee that you're going to give more to the one who give money, and I don't think we have something tangible to give.
Well,
I think we should keep it small for now. Like,
oh no, for now, I think it's something we should explore in the future at the very least, or like explore other options.
For the 2 or 3 people are watching, it's all about you. I'm not doing this for the million of people. I don't care about the million of people.
Well, who knows? But
the only thing I care is you watching the video is probably me, or it's probably John's mother.
She's our biggest fan.
It's all about you. You know, like
God
that's why you're always swearing and stuff like that. Like my mother would be like.
Oh yeah, she fucking.
Oh, you say too much.
That's the lamest Irish accent I've ever heard in my life.
Oh, John, you're swearing too much. I'm sorry, no. That's
accents ain't your fucking strong point, sunshine. They really ain't.
I can do a lot of good French accent. It's just like the English accent that I can do.
Yeah, I could do or Irish accents either.
If you have a knowledge of French, I can do all the French accents: Swiss French, Belgium French,
go on,
Quebec French.
Right, give some examples. Go on.
Carlis tabarnak.
Who's that?
It's a Quebec. It's Carlis. They speak like this a little bit. They don't speak like this when they speak English, but like when they speak French, they speak like this. That's right. It's pretty bad.
What's Parisian sound like? No, but do it in French though.
Bonjour, ça va? That's the Parisian people, you know. I'm just going back from the Louvre. It's very nice. I like drinking wine on the terrace while there is like riots going on, and I love having the.
It sounds so much like West London, darling.
I love to have my Bordeaux with a bit of steering gas, you know. Yeah.
Yeah, it sounds very much like West London.
And sorry for the Swiss who watch me. I love Swiss and
Go on.
French Swiss speak like this.
Like the yodeling.
I don't want to offend you, but sometimes we speak like this.
What was the sound of music? The hills are alive with the sound of music.
And
blah, blah, blah.
There's always that up and down in people from Switzerland. They're like daddy, and the friends are like daddy, you know, like
yeah.
And Belgium is like this, huh? You know, something like this, huh? Friendships. Oh my God, so racist.
No, we're being racist. You're being xenophobic.
My uncle is Belgium is fine. So like speaking like this, you know. So a lot of because of the Dutch kind of thing.
Influence, yeah.
Going on. In Southwest, where I come from, oh, speak like this, eh? Hey, oh, peu cher. Oh, come on, hey, oh. Have you seen that video of the guy trying to watch every rugbyman, like French rugbyman, they're speaking like this, you know. That's from Southwest. That's where I come from. They say there's the rose, and rose in French is the rose.
Yeah.
And ras, it's like the ras. You know, like it's just like you just like butcher the thing all the time.
You're butchering your own fucking language. You
see, I'm good at accent. I'm proving you that I'm good at accent. I'm good at accent, but only French accent.
Okay, point taken. You're very good at French accent, but you suck at all the other ones.
Yeah, I'm very. I suck.
I can actually do some.
I can do a Japanese accent. That's
because you're a fucking weeaboo.
Weeaboo. I watch too much anime.
You do watch a lot of anime.
It's a bit racist to do like something that's not my language.
It's not racist. It's xenophobic.
Racist, xenophobic. It's not good anyway. It's not good to make fun of people just because to make fun of the way they talk. Do
you know what I think it is? It's because I remember again. I'm talking from personal experience.
Please make fun of my French accent. Please, I don't care.
Yeah. No. When it comes to making fun, when it comes to making fun or taking a piss or whatever, right, or having banter, right. I remember. I'll never forget. It's like I used to work at a nightclub when I was about 19 or 20. Right, a place called the Scala in King's Cross, and I remember the bar manager was this Asian dude, Said, because his name was a short geezer. And I remember, like, we were sitting down, right, cracking up, drinking Jack Daniels and Coke, right, and him telling me Irish jokes, me telling him Asian jokes, and just busting our holes laughing.
Yeah. Because
the thing was, A, we both knew it was inappropriate. B, it was funny. And C, we were both doing it together. Do you know what I mean? It's like when you're taking a piss out your mates. Do you know what I mean? Because I like to think, like, if I'm taking a piss at you,
you're waiting for him to come back. You're waiting for him to come back.
You want banter. You want that banter, and sometimes like the banter can get
to like two dogs playing fight.
Yeah, it's like you want the banter. You want the back and forth because it's funny and it's fun. Do you know what I mean? I think it's like when it comes to the difference I think a lot of it's down to context, right? If you're just attacking someone and insulting someone.
To make them feel bad.
Yeah, or to belittle them or something like that. But I think that's when, especially when it comes to when it comes to really sensitive topics. But when if you're among your mates and you're just really ripping into each other, it's funny.
It's funny, yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's like why comedians get away with so much.
And there's a comeback of comedy. I'm glad there's a comeback of comedy where people make fun of other people.
Yeah.
Because at some point, for a very short period of time, you couldn't make fun of anybody.
I think there's still a bit of that going on at the moment.
It's getting away.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of PC political correctness. I mean, that's been like, I wouldn't say it's been a very pervasive thing for the last 20 or so years.
It's pushing back a little bit.
And I hope it does, because one of my favourite podcasts is Flagrant. I love fucking Flagrant.
What's my favourite podcast for me is Bad Friend.
I haven't seen that
with
one.
Bobby Lee and.
I've seen clips of it. I haven't seen the entire one.
I just love this. They're like openly racist to each other, but it's playful.
Yeah, they're having fun and they're mates.
Yes,
that's the thing. That's the thing. It's like if you look at Flagrant, they fucking rip holes into each other.
Yeah.
But it's funny, and because it's amongst mates. See, that's the thing. Is like and that's what makes it funny and endearing. That's why it makes it relatable. But when you're just being a dick and just like for instance, there's a few.
If you don't do that with a good heart, because they do that with a good heart. They inside they know the like in the fragrance, they all know that their heart is in a good place.
Yeah, they're mates. They're friends. They love each other as mates.
And you know what? If you take offense, it's not because you think my heart is. If you take offense about me, it's not because you think that my heart is in a good place. I know my heart is in a good place. I love everybody, and I love my neighbor, and I love I have no animosity for who you are and where you come from. I have no hatred for that.
No.
If I want to hate you, I want to hate you as a person. I don't want to hate you for who you are and who you were.
Yeah,
from.
it's like there's not people like there are people that I dislike.
I think that people who are like
I'm pretty sure there's people
get
who
extremely
dislike
offended from an artist making fun of something like that or something like that. It's I think their heart is not in a good place.
Yeah, I think when it comes down to it as well, it's like with offence is taken, never given.
There we go.
Right, but also you got to bear in mind, it's like with when it comes to like it doesn't matter whether you're on the left or on the right. I don't really give a fuck. Like either or, yeah. Because when you start, especially like, I was watching this one video from one dude, and again, no names, don't care. But he was like, they were both on one side of but these two people on the same side of the political divide, and they were fucking like knocking at each other.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was funny because it's two people who are openly disparaging each other, like taking shots at each other, and it's funny.
But they both have their heart in the right place.
No, but they don't. They're actually they're taking shots at each other and being narky towards each other, being dicks towards being mean towards each other. And I think, to be honest with you, with a lot of that, it's like I'm not saying you can't dislike someone. Like there's people out there I actively dislike. You know what I mean?
But like you dislike them as a person.
Yeah, I don't dislike them as a person or what they've done to me or whatever else or what. And then there's people out there that dislike me. Right?
Yeah, and the people like they dislike
you.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's just the way of the world. We can't like everybody. We just can't.
No, you can.
Do you know what I mean? But if I'm going to, but at the same time, when it comes to people I dislike, right? Here's what I like to do with them. Mm-hmm. Don't talk to them. Don't acknowledge them. Don't have them in my life.
Yeah.
I don't want to sit down and waste oxygen or waste brain power on them. What I would like to do.
I'm not going to reach them.
Yeah, I'm not going to go online and start slagging them off. I don't care. I'd rather you die anonymously. I don't care. I don't care what you do.
Do whatever you like.
Yeah, do whatever you like. Do whatever you like. As long as
without me.
Don't involve me in your nonsense. I don't care.
Yeah.
Right. So if you dislike me out there, you're quite merely to dislike me. Just keep it to yourself. All right.
And sometimes this could hurt the person more. Like, just like I don't want to have to deal with you anymore.
Yeah. It's like, or if I have to deal with you, I'll deal with you in a very cursory way, in a very transactional way. If I have to. If I have to deal with you in that manner, then I'll deal with you in a transactional way. But other than that, I just couldn't give a fuck. Miss me with that noise. Thank you very much. Right, I need to take shit.
I think we're gonna call it.
I think we should call it.
It's the poop. Like I don't know. I was going for a joke with that, but like it's not very cool.
It's all right. Never mind. Poop is always funny.
It's the oh fuck's sake.
All right, look. What we'll do, I think we'll round it out.
Yeah, we'll round it out.
We'll round it out because I need to take a poo, and B, it's 10 o'clock. It's 10 o'clock at night, and I need to go down and get some vape fluid before the shop closes.
Yeah.
So what we'll do?
I need to go home as well. I need to. I walk into.
Oh, there is that too. I do fuck off. So in that case, then at the 2 hour 36 mark, we'll round this out, and one thing we'll give our final thoughts on Inception.
It's a great movie. You should watch it.
It's a great movie. You should watch it. In terms of
you should rewatch it.
If you've already watched it,
I think you should. You did already watch it, but like.
If you haven't watched it, watch it. If you have watched it, rewatch it. Several times.
If you're young, 20 years old, who didn't watch Inception because you were basically 10 years old, go watch it now. Yeah,
and also another thing, and I've said this before about certain other movies. This is one of these movies, right, from a director that every other aspiring filmmaker should be fucking like basically studying this man and studying his body of work.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, the man is a once, like I said, I've said it fucking several times. He's a once in a lifetime director, and if you really want to get involved in being a director, he's one of the ones you should study.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
So that's my feelings towards it. So anyway, let's round this out once and for all. My name has been John Clare.
I've been Ryan Fresh.
This has been the Post Watch Post Mortem. We thank you for taking the time to watch it because it's been a long one.
Yeah, we're getting longer and longer.
Yeah, why not? Fuck it.
Yeah.
So yeah, thank you for taking the time and staying with us all the way to the end if you have done. And we'll see you next time. So, bye.
Do you like the subject should be like Inception and other stuff?
Oh wait a minute, we forgot to do something.
Oh fuck the announcement.
The announcement.
Okay.
Right. Sorry. All right. Okay.
We'll take it back.
Rewind. We'll take it back. I'll take it. All right. Okay. I was bringing it up here now. Okay.
For the surprise for the people.
So, what did we agree on? Right, because for the next month, for the month of October, we are doing a horror special. All right.
Halloween special, horror special.
Horror special for the entire month of Halloween. I don't know. We were going to call it like Shocktober or something like that.
I like Shocktober.
Shocktober?
I like Shocktober.
Oh, we'll call it the Shocktober special then. So for the entire month of October, these are the following films we're going to watch. We're going to watch Alien, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Get Out, The Thing, and Nosferatu, the original.
Maybe not in that order.
Maybe not in that order. But let's decide now, so everyone who hasn't already fucked off knows what we're watching next. What should we watch?
I think we decide on Get Out.
Get Out. Okay, it's going to be Get Out.
It's a very recent
horror movie.
Is it a horror thriller? Is horror like psychological horror thriller?
Yeah, it's also one neither of us have seen yet.
Yeah, there you go. That's what we're going to watch.
So yeah, if you haven't fucked off already, that's what we're watching next time out. So tune in next week and we'll talk about the Get Out. Okay. In that case then, right, finally, once and for all, my name's John Clow.
I've been Roman Presh.
And again, this has been Post Watch Post Mortem. Thank you for staying to the end, and we'll see you next time.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Go away now. Oh, trademark. Trademark.
Careful, we might be stepping on someone's toes with that one.
No, it's like, you know what? I don't know. Maybe it will do some publicity. I'm just going to do like trademark things and stuff like that.
Yeah, just for the crack.
Just for people to talk about us. You know, bad publicity is sometimes good. It's good publicity.
All publicity is good publicity.
That's the one.
All right. Okay. Well, hit the off button. Let's go.
Yeah. Okay.